right. So we're here again with
That's
more
right.
Yu Yu Hakusho.
That's right. It's Yu Yu
Uh,
Hakusho. We're talking about what's probably widely considered the best arc of the series, and honestly, one of the best arcs around in Shonen. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. The Dark Tournament arc.
it's up there. Yeah.
It's a good time.
Um, yeah.
That's that's chapters. We had a little trouble with the
Yeah.
chapters
The
because we know that it starts at chapter 52, but depending on the source, it'll either say it ends at chapter 112 or 113.
yeah.
Because like the official volumes and the website we were using to read it count two shots as chapter 64, even though they don't label it as chapter 64, and
Yeah.
that makes the last chapter of this arc, Togoro's Repentance, chapter 113. But then you have sites like Wikipedia saying no, that's chapter 112.
Yeah.
Either way, that's around the where it goes. Anime episodes would be, I believe, 26 to 66, if I'm recalling correctly.
I don't know. Maybe, yes.
Yes,
Let's go with that.
yes, yes. So
That's the right answer.
when we last left off, the gang was training for the Dark Tournament. Taguro invited them, quote unquote. He basically threatened them into coming, and we're picking up as they're ready to head off to the Dark Tournament. And first things first, I wanted to talk about the art. I don't know whether or not the Dark Tournament was like always in the cards being built up, or if it was sort of like in a seat of the pants like other arcs later on. But whether or not Togashi was like excited for such a long, involved story, whatever the reason, the art quality has definitely taken a jump up in this arc. The art style was always very kind of rounded and simple, kind of rough. But here's when Togashi really kind of takes off with the art, really bumps it up. I definitely this first chapter of it definitely caught my eye. Maybe it's all the shading needed for a nighttime forest scene, but this chapter 52, is just so eye catching to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think like before this point, like we really got this quality, like the shading really looked like this at nighttime. I think most of the time it was like pretty
Uh,
similar to daytime like style, but I don't know. I just feel like this chapter specifically was
really
made
good.
to look better because it was like kicking off like this big arc that Togashi seemed to have been building up to.
I could see that. Yeah.
But yeah,
We're starting.
I did notice like the arc as a whole was definitely like it looked better than,
Yeah.
well, it was more detailed. Better would be subjective, but uh
Right. More
it's
details, more
definitely been
shading,
cool.
more kind of like consistent look to things, I
hmm
guess. Yeah.
I think like the earlier parts of like the series were definitely more lighthearted and goofy, and like the art style kind of represented that a little bit. And now
Mhm.
it's gotten a little bit more serious, so it's gotten
Right,
more
right.
detailed and dark, or
Yeah,
maybe I don't know.
reflecting that kind of change.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's fun. So yeah, we're all getting set. The dark tournament. We're starting in the most the best place to start any arc, a pirate ship.
Pirates.
There's a pirate. He's
I
got
did I didn't notice he was a pirate.
he's a little pirate man.
That's good.
Uh, and yeah, we start out with just Kurama, Hiei, and Kuwabara, but eventually Yusuke and their mysterious fifth fighter, who you definitely can't tell who it is.
Yeah, I had no idea the whole time.
I wonder if anyone reading week to week was fooled into thinking it's not Genkai.
Children?
Yeah, probably. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I,
The
as
target
as
audience.
Yeah, it's true. I I think Togashi knew how obvious it was though, since he kind of plays with it. Kuwabara like very early on kind of comments like, yeah, that kind of looks like Genkai, maybe it's her, and then like the reveal of the younger Genkai face is like meant to throw us off. We're supposed to have assumed it's Genkai by then.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, anyway, Yusuke is back, and he has this little exchange with Hiei, and it's just like a little brief thing. There's not much to like comment on, but like I this little exchange, it's the perfect way of kind of showing us that the last 2 months of training Yusuke's done. It really has, he's really put in the work, and it really tells us that like once he's in the ring for the first time, we're gonna see like a whole new Yusuke, which is definitely needed because as I mentioned in the previous episode, Yusuke's kind of gotten by on like either he's way stronger than his opponents, or for like most part he's way weaker and needs to get through on like kind of typically blind luck and sometimes strategy. But like now he's actually kind of
Competent?
competent. Yeah. Yes. That's the word.
Yeah, definitely. I mean he doesn't really have to try that much just to match Hiei, which, in the past when he fought Hiei, like it was like, you know,
That was
um
one of his blind luck ones.
yeah, it was like that meme of the guy standing there and then just this fucking giant like in the distance like facing off
Yeah.
against him. It was like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, off to the dark tournament they go. Yusuke falls asleep, and he's just gonna stay asleep for a while because he's a little sleepyhead, little sleepy boy,
Yeah.
a little
He
sleeping man.
trained so much that he had to take a nap.
Don't
Excellent.
we all?
Now that you
There's
mention it, can I take a nap right now?
yes.
Okay. You got
Oh
this,
boy,
Mike.
thank
Ta-
you.
you got the rest of the podcast
You
forever.
got
Anyways,
it. Yeah. Anyway, the on the boat is the preliminaries. We're just not really gonna waste time with this. It's one team on this boat is going to be in the last slot of the 16. Was it 8 or 16?
16 because
16
tournament,
finalists.
even though
Right.
it didn't really matter. But yeah.
Uh, yeah. So the prelims are on the boat. All the teams send in one. Mask fighter of mysteriousness steps up and kind of wipes them all out with the shotgun. And then, and then it doesn't matter because all the demons say, "Screw the prelims. Let's just kill everybody."
I feel like that happens a lot in this tournament where nobody like gives a shit about the rules at all. They just want to kill people.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of like the main theme of round three. The idea that like these rules, the rules are rules until the people up top say no, that's not the
hmm
rules.
Not even then, because like, well, yeah, for that round definitely, but just like in general, nobody like gives a shit about like everybody will,
Yeah,
um, break them when it suits them.
yeah. This is blood sport that's barely contained within rules.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
the rules are more of just like a very like loose guideline just to get them to fight.
right, right.
But other than that, whatever goes.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I think every round has something along like something that kind of fudges the rules in
Definitely.
some way.
And just the
Uh,
structure of the tournament in general is
right.
just doesn't really make that much logical sense.
Yeah. It's like pro wrestling. It's not about being fair and square. It's about putting on a show. And here the show is blood and death.
Yes.
Yeah. and,
Also
and
capitalism.
yeah, that too, yeah. Uh, he is all for it because even before he even says before the preliminaries start, Kuwabara asks, "What if we lose the preliminaries?" He is just like, "And we kill everybody aboard and say we won."
That's
And then
how it
all of the
works.
yeah, and then all of the demons start doing it, and he's just like, "I think they stole my idea."
They hurt him.
Yeah,
That would be great.
I love Kuwabara's line in the anime. It's like, "You didn't have many friends growing up, did you, Hiei?"
Who would want to be friends with that edgy motherfucker?
Apparently, Kurama.
He lives in the darkness, dude.
That's true. He lives in the shadows of the darkness of the demon of the
Yeah.
dragon of the black swordsman dragon, whatever.
Yeah, that.
Can you see why he was the main inspiration for Sasuke?
Yes, I can.
uh, so yeah, we have a little bit of action on the boat. Kuwabara busts out the double spirit sword here, which makes two uses in the manga. In the anime, he doesn't do it here, so its only use ever is against Rinku.
It's so weird that like they spent all this time training, but I feel like Kuwabara like he got a second sword, but he never really got a chance to like use like any kind of like dual swordsman stuff.
Yeah, the only
And
time we
he
ever
just
see
got
it
like
beyond here is against Rinku
yeah, and he just like got stronger like
in
like
general.
physically. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. The anime has a little training montage where we see
Hmm.
that was kind of like the point. Kurama and Hiei were trying to toughen him up.
Yeah. Same thing with Yusuke. He didn't like get any new moves or anything. He just got stronger.
That's fair though.
Yeah.
His last training got him the shotgun, and he gets the spirit wave in this arc. So
Hmm.
I think that's
I
fair.
thought I
Just
thought the spirit wave
leveling him up.
and the shotgun were the same thing.
I don't blame you for getting things about the spirit wave confused because this the story is never particularly like consistent with the spirit wave, and they call a lot of different stuff the spirit wave.
Yeah, I feel like it was like described like I feel like the specific wording like literally used shotgun. So that's what maybe it was just the translation or something, or maybe
Yeah,
I just misunderstood somehow. I don't know.
it could have been the translation. Yeah, this is a kind of this translation, while better than
Hmm.
prostitute Atsuko pant shitting Keiko version, it's still kind of an early translation in the whole
To
Viz
to
manga
be
thing.
fair, I think she did actually shit herself. It's just the official translation didn't
I, I don't
I don't
think
know.
so
I'm
because
just fucking with
I've
you.
ne- I,
I know the prostitute one is definitely real though.
I
It was
think
just
so
censored.
actually. Yeah,
It
I
was
googled
censored.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
But
oh
yeah.
yeah, boat. Everybody dies on the boat. They got off the boat. Time for the dark tournament.
Yep.
Yeah, and they go to a hotel and they just see a bunch of fancy rich people, and it's here that we kind of we started this whole idea with the Black Club in the previous arc, but it's here we kind of get it laid out in very like plain terms. This is while demons come for the bloodshed and stuff, this is all kind of puppeteered by rich people just kind of getting their sick kicks.
Yeah.
That's going to have a way more repercussions on the very existential level come next arc. But here
Figured.
it's more, yeah, here it's more just like, you know, fuck the rich.
It's really just part of like the setup for the arc. Like it's
Yeah,
explaining how all of this is happening. It doesn't
yeah.
really
The
have too much to do with
Yu Yu Hakusho is very kind of like anti-establishment, and while you
Mhm.
have characters like Taguro who represent like the people in control through physical might, the rich people running the tournament are representing people that are in control in society through like money and political
Mhm.
power.
Yeah, and then like when they work together, the like
when they
Yusuke's
work
and his
together.
friends have to work together to defeat them and stuff. Yeah.
Yusuke and his friends that must defeat the capitalists. Please
Yes,
do.
they have to.
They have to do so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and this is when we see the gals on the island:
Yeah.
Botan, Keiko, Chizuru, and in the manga only Atsuko.
Yeah, I didn't actually realize I couldn't tell like that it was Atsuko at first. I was just
Yeah,
like, who is this black-haired person?
I feel like they kind of changed how she was drawn, or maybe it's just that we haven't seen
Maybe
her in a long
I feel
while in the
like it's just
manga.
that we haven't seen her. I kind
Yeah,
of like forgot she existed.
that's fair. The anime
Um,
did too. She's just not in the anime version of this arc at all.
yeah. At first I thought it was like Yukina just acting weirdly, but no. Because that's like
Nope.
that's the character who was like in my mind at the time because we had just read the Yukina arc. So, well, it's actually been a while in real time, but that was like the most recent character that I was introduced to.
I want to say that's fair, but you could not have picked
I
two
know.
more different
I
characters.
know, but I was like, well, black hair. That's it.
Yeah. So here, yeah. So
Oh, I
while we're on the
also thought
topic,
it could have been like Kurama's like mom or something. And then I don't know how I thought it could be Kurama's mom, and it didn't even cross my mind that it was Yusuke's mom. That's so weird.
a little bum bum.
Well, because I was thinking that like e- each team member would have like someone there to root for them,
Man,
right?
that's
So
fair.
I was like, there's got to be someone for Kurama here,
Kurama's his own biggest fan.
right?
Yeah. But while we're on this topic, I might as well just cover in broad details how the cheerleader squad is handled between the mediums. In the manga, they're they're much more kind of they're there, but like we get a lot less of them. Like in round one, we cut to them a lot less than the anime does. Rounds two and three, they're not even there for in the manga. The joke is that because Atsuko was partying so much, they ended up oversleeping and
Mm-hmm.
didn't arrive until Kuwabara versus Risho, where in the anime, Keiko and Shizuru and Botan, they were already there and commentating. The anime cuts to them when they need to fill like half a minute.
Yeah.
Um, they still got lost during round four, but the anime cuts to them a few times, and I think round five, the finals, it was kind of similar. But yeah, that's a thing. And one last part of that is that this might be a weird thing to notice, but the anime kind of, I don't know what kind of word to use, feminizes. Like I know they're women, but they act a lot more. I don't know,
Typic like
less tough.
less tough.
Specific, specifically Keiko, because in the manga, like we don't get a scene of Botan telling them all this, but Botan describes like she thinks to herself like as soon as I told Keiko, she didn't even flinch. She just said take me there. Where in the anime, we actually saw Botan telling Keiko and Chizuru, and Keiko just like faints outright.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a few other times that she just kind of like acts a little less tough in the anime when they're trying to get in during round three and the guard is like messing with them kinda. In the manga, Keiko just slaps him outright, like angry face. Where in the anime it's more kind of like an eek pervert reaction. And Shizuru too, because I don't know. It's not that she's acting less tough, but like they gave her more to do in the anime, and part of that was like a,
Just
a
having typical girl reactions and stuff, right?
no, no,
No.
no, no. She's still cool in the anime. She has not changed all that much, but what's added is that like a couple of scenes are added where she's hanging out with Sakio. Like they kind of run across each other, and they're
Okay.
and there's this sort of like, I don't want to say budding romance, but like budding
What?
interest.
That's so
Yes.
weird.
I counted like 4 scenes across the tournament where they interact. One was during round 1 where Keiko during Yusuke versus Chu in the anime, they add a bit where Keiko runs down to the ground level and asks Kuwabara to stop the fight because she thinks Yusuke is gonna die. Shizuru goes after her and gets chased around by like a little handful of like weird demons, and then Sakio kind of pulls her away. I think during round 3, when they're getting back into the stadium with Yukina, they get stopped by the guards, and Sakio like gets Shizuru out of that jam. And then they have like a couple things during the final round. Sakio gives her his lighter as like a memento, and
What?
she's like actually like sad when he dies.
It's so
I
weird.
I'm sure it sounds weird, like coming from like somebody who you've only read the manga version of this. It is kind of odd, yeah.
Why
I
would you
think
add something like that?
I don't know. It's also weird because she's like 18 or 20 and he's like 30 at the minimum.
I thought she was a high school student.
I I there's conflicting sources.
Then again, this takes place during spring break, right? So she could
Yeah,
be like in between.
she's like 18 or 20 or
Yeah.
something. I think the only like I could have just said Keiko was acting more feminine, but I also think of that with Shizuru because they change her outfit in the like Shizuru for throughout most of the tournament is wearing like these little snappy suits or like a waistcoat, stuff like that. But in the final round in the anime, they change her outfit to be like more kind of feminine looking.
Eh.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think
the,
that has as big of
nah
an
nah.
effect as
It's
like
just
her
that
personality.
nah. That's it's just something I noticed. Shizuru is for the most part left untouched and just kind of
Okay.
like expanded. But there's that thing with Sakio.
I think also just like not having Atsuko also like affects like
The
how like
dynamic.
the dynamic of their group, yeah.
I would agree because in the manga, there's more. Whenever we cut back to them, it's less that like they're worried about what's going to happen,
They're just
and
dealing with like whatever the fuck Atsuko is doing.
kind of yeah. I kind of wish the anime kept Atsuko in this arc because
She's
I
so
really
good.
love. She's so funny. She every time we cut back to her, she's acting like this is like a pro wrestling thing, and she's like, "Yeah, son, kill him, rip off his arm, and shove it up his ass."
It's so good.
I love it.
Yeah, let's get
Let's
back into
yeah.
this. So a
Moving
little
on.
boy appears.
Yeah, they're in their room, and there's a little boy in there. This little '90s boy, Rinku.
Yes. He's just
He's just
there.
he's just kind of chilling, and then another guy appears. Zero is just kind of looks like a dude.
Yeah. Well, he looks more is it conspicuous? Is that the word I'm worth looking for than his
I think so.
teammates? I
Yeah,
don't
he
know.
look. Yeah, Team Rokuyokai looks just like a bunch of guys. They don't really
Just
look like demons.
it's just a bunch of guys and then the little boy and this guy looks less generic than the others, but he still looks pretty generic.
I think I think that's part of why like it's part of him being a red herring, and I think Zero works very well as a red herring. They have this the coffee cup bit where he's like tomorrow you'll end up like your coffee cup over there, and then it splits in half through unknown means. Like stuff like that, how he and Rinku avoided detection when they snuck into the
Hmm.
room. They work to help build him up, and like he seems to be the team leader, so strength is assumed. But like even with all of that, the seeds are kind of being planted for Chu's eventual arrival. In the manga, they call to attention specifically to the fact that they get an alternate, and that Murkuyakai chose semi-randomly who the alternate would be.
Yeah.
So it's not like Chu just kind of comes out of nowhere. We had no idea there'd be an alternate.
I don't think he's like too much of a red herring because like I don't think he's weak. It's just that Hiei like went so
Yeah,
fucking overboard.
yeah, yeah. He dropped a fucking nuke on this thing.
Yeah.
And I mean red herring as like
Yeah, yeah, narratively.
you think he's the strongest of Team
Hmm.
Rokuyokai. You think he's the leader. He's the main guy to watch out for. It's actually this bumbling
Hmm.
Australian drunk.
Yep.
I never really realized that Team Rokuyokai or Jolly Devil Six, whatever you call it, I never really thought that the team had much identity compared to the other teams. Like they didn't have much of a theme. The manga kind of clarifies that for me. That they're all sort of supposed to be these social bottom feeders from the slums, and like I think that knowing that
Yeah, I could see that.
I kind of get it more. Like they all kind of look very the inconspicuous, casual looks of them, and like how some of their team acts. Like Chu's a drunk, Roto's like this like slime ball, underhanded Weasley dude. Rinku's like the little tough street kid, quote unquote. Like now that I have a theme, now that I've been given something to kind of latch onto in terms of a theme for this team, I kind of get it more. That's
Yeah.
something I like about the Dark Tournament as a whole. Each team, except maybe Team Taguro, has kind of a theme. I think that's fun.
Yeah,
It's
I
not,
kind of picked up a little bit like on the themes like of the team like their themes. They each have like a theme,
yeah,
but I didn't like I think this is kind of like
wasn't
a thing from last time too where like it's hard for me to pick up on like more specific things just because this is my first time going through it. Whereas
right.
like on a later read through, I would already know
Yeah,
what's going on, so I'd be able to focus more on the details.
right. And some of the themes, some of them are kind of subtle, like Rakuyakai, compared to like Team Yuriatogi, which is like really, really
Yeah.
supposed to be in your face with the whole fairy tales thing.
Hmm. That one I definitely got.
Yeah.
Even
Did
though
you pick
like
up on that? Did you pick up on the subtlety?
yeah, even though like I didn't know any of the fairy tales, they were just called the fairy tale squad.
Yeah. Fractured fairy tales.
Yeah. So,
Well, fairy fails because they all fucking died. Uh,
yeah.
so yeah, the Dark Tournament begins. We meet our announcer Koto, who is fun. She's more fun in the anime. Let me just tell you now.
Yeah. At first I thought she was like a like a dog person, and then I thought she was like a cat person, and then I thought she was like a raccoon person. I don't even fucking know.
Yeah, it's not that
She's
it's
just
not that clear.
general beast
Yeah,
person, and I
the
she's cool.
dub goes with Fox Girl. That's what they call her
That works.
occasionally, and it also
That
goes.
actually makes sense.
She also has a crush on Yoko Kurama in the dub.
Nice.
Koto's just fun. I love how it's less so in the manga because there's less time focusing on her, but with like the anime needing to add time and having the
Mm-hmm.
the being able to make her move and give her a voice and all that stuff, they're able to really bring out her fun personality.
There's always something like charming about like an announcer character who like, has their own like uh, you
Their
know,
own bias.
own bias, yeah, but like I mean like just like a character who has like their own personality and everything and isn't just like some
Yeah.
nameless fucking rando out there.
Yeah, like the world tournament announcer in Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
A good announcer turns something that's like just something in the background into like another fun facet of the arc.
Yeah.
Koto's definitely fun with how fucking bloodthirsty she is.
Mm-hmm. She's great.
Although I personally prefer Jury, just because I love how fucking pathetic she is. It's just
What's
funny
pathetic
watching.
about her? Oh,
It's
because she gets like blown away a couple times.
it's more pronounced in the fucking anime where, like, once again, having her move and giving her a voice, she's able to like have a bit more characterization, but they
Hmm.
just kind of focus on how much unlucky stuff happens to her. She gets turned into a kid by the Idon box. Hiei throws Makintaro's severed arm at her.
Wow.
She nearly gets fried by the dragon of the darkness flame. She gets blown away a few times.
Yeah, like
Every
basically
time she's
none of
just
that happened in the
screaming her
manga.
head off. It's more understated in the
Yeah.
manga. I did see a couple like versions of that, but in the anime they kind of give it some focus,
There
and you're
was
able
like
to kind of
she got
see.
blown away in like the Yusuke versus Toguro, and I think that's it. I think
There
she
was the,
almost got hit by like the dragon flame of darkness, whatever.
I,
But
it's just more
yeah.
pronounced in the anime. I'll put it like that. It's just
Hmm.
fun watching her just kind of flail and scream and not know what the fuck is
Yeah.
going on, because the implication is she's just like a last minute replacement to punish Koto for getting all up in the committee's face during the Team Macho fight.
Damn. My impression from reading the manga was that like it was really just because like the power scale just like went up like in the latter portion of the tournament, just obviously because they're
That could
eliminating
have
all
been
the
it too.
weaker people. So like naturally crazier shit's gonna be going on.
And they had somebody more expendable in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Coco is the least expendable character. Let's just get that out of the way here.
T-
Need her.
yeah. I did notice like she, Jiro, right? Or Jiru? She did
Jury?
Jury, that's it. Yeah, she didn't really have in the manga at least. She didn't really have much of a character.
That's fair,
She,
yeah.
well, she also didn't have as many. She wasn't an announcer. She was just a referee. So like
Right.
the role that Koto originally took was
Koto
kind of
was
like split
both
in two.
announcer and a
Yeah,
referee. Yeah,
so they had to share the role, and so Jury didn't really get a chance to shine.
that's fair. The anime really helps that along by
Hmm.
just focusing on more on like all the unlucky stuff happening to her.
And just making
Really
her
make
pathetic. Hmm.
pretty much.
It's great.
It's mean to say, but I stand by it. I love me that pathetic reptile.
Yes.
You're right, I don't know, maybe a frog. I don't care. Anyway, round one, Team Rokuyokai. We started off. We started off with the. Well, actually, let me talk a little bit about the setup for the tournament and how, like, rounds of the tournament are very flexible. Like the basic version is that like two people go in, and then after the round is called, they both exit and two new people enter. That's the basic of how it goes, but the rounds themselves can be very flexible. We got a battle royale. We got like an
Yeah.
elimination style round. We had the dice thing with Team Yuriatogi. That flexibleness helps keep things very interesting. I
Yeah.
think
It's
I think the
always
first
different, at least like a little bit different. So
Yeah, I think the first and final rounds are the only ones where the setup is the same, fittingly enough. Yeah,
yeah,
having the setup kind of shifts each time helps keep things interesting.
yeah, it
Oh
definitely
yeah,
does.
Rinku versus Kuwabara. What'd you think of this fight?
Um, I actually kind of liked it. First off, Rinku reminds me a lot of Gon. Um,
I I said something similar but kind of different. Rinku also almost seems like an alpha version of Killua. Both are kind of quote unquote cool kids with a sadistic side and are fine with killing. Kind of play
yeah,
into the
definitely.
kind of play into the mischievous little boy role for fun, and both
Hmm.
fight using yo-yos.
And
Yeah,
yeah, speaking of that, it also reminds me of that fight in Heaven's Arena where I think it was Killua, right? Where he was fighting the guy who had like the spinning tops or something like that. I don't remember.
oh yeah, Gon fights the spinning top guy Guido.
Yeah, it reminded me of that fight a little bit.
I mentioned Killua because Killua actually does get like weaponized yo-yos during the Greed Island arc.
Mm-hmm.
Togashi likes his weaponized yo-yos. That's fun.
Yo-yos.
Yo.
There was also a kid later on who had a freaking I don't think he had a fishing rod.
Oh, you're a Yorishima.
Yeah, that guy.
That's a grown ass man. I
Oh
think.
yeah, I don't remember. I just remember seeing
Voiced by Vic
a
Mignogna.
short person with a fishing rod, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
It looks
And
like Yusuke, who like but like half the size and with a big chin.
nice.
I liked this more now in the manga. The anime I think stretches out this fight a little too long, but the manga keeps it nice and quick.
Mm-hmm.
And Kuwabara I think comes across as much more competent here. Not much more competent, but I feel like in the manga because of the quick pace, Kuwabara comes off a little better.
Mm-hmm.
He's got some cool new tricks. He's got the double spirit sword as we mentioned. The anime extends the fight a little bit, and at one point he's like tilting up the tiles of the ring with his sword to make shields, and that was fun. And he's got another trick that I wish we saw more of, which was bending his sword.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was kind of like connected to like what he did later on with the
Oh yeah,
other sword, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
yeah. Kuwabara gives a great little show overall. He ends up losing, but it's only to a cheap trick. I guess somebody had to get cheated out of a victory here to get us to 4 matches, just like in the last round of
Yeah,
the finals.
definitely.
When
Yeah,
they
yeah.
needed to cheat out to get 4 wins. Uh,
It's yeah,
yeah,
like in the finals they all still won, but like they didn't not by like the tournament rules, which is yeah,
here it's
that's still
similar
cool.
where Rinku just had to like cheap out a victory because he knew he couldn't win against Kuwabara if they kept going.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's the first fight of round one. Moving on to Kuwabara or not Kuwabara, Kurama versus Roto. Yeah,
Um, what was that one again?
that was the one with the little button. Their
Oh
mom is
yeah,
kind of a hot.
he was trying to take his
Yeah,
mom hostage, and
yeah.
okay,
Roto's pretty. I don't blame you. Roto is pretty forgettable.
yeah,
I I do like his arm blade and his cheap tactics. It makes this fight pretty different, but like still kind of forgettable. I prefer his manga design because his eyes are much more like he's got like little slit eyes with reversed colors, and it makes him look a little bit more distinct. In the anime, he just kind of looks like a background character.
he still looks like a background character.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Hmm. Um, but yeah, I mean that fight happened,
Yeah,
I guess.
it's we get a little clarification on Kurama's power set here, and it's the first time we see. I forgot what the manga calls it, but I just know it by the anime name, which is just the Death Plant.
Oh yeah.
Damn, I consider this finisher with the Death Plant to be damn iconic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're seeing Kurama's inner brutality come out for the first time, and it's great. The personality of Yoko Kurama is getting all set up. Fun. It's a fun moment, but the fight is just meh because it's not really a fight. It's more about the moment. You know?
It feels like it was really just a complete stomp despite it like taking so long just because of weird stuff.
Yeah, tactics and stuff.
Yeah. But like it wasn't really not a lot actually happened.
Yeah. Same and the same goes for our next fight, Hiei versus Zero.
Yeah, it's kind of the same except like just even more
Quicker.
bombastic.
Yeah. I was talking to Jake during
Hmm.
My former roommate Jake, we were talking about Yu Yu Hakusho as I was reading. I found out he's not a big fan of Hiei, which like I surprised me. But once he kind of got into it, I saw where he was coming from. He basically said like all of Hiei's fights are kind of these stomps, and
Yeah.
and that's definitely the case here because like while the Dragon of the Darkness Flame, its first usage is just like such an amazing moment, especially with all the pomp and circumstance the anime throws at
I
us.
think on its own it's a great moment, but
Yeah, on its own, it's a great moment. But like, if you try and classify it as a fight, it's not really,
yeah.
it doesn't really stack up because it's not really a fight. It's two
Yeah.
moves.
Or like even like I mean like in a vacuum, like not considering all of Hiei's other quote unquote fights for at least up until this point. Um but yeah, I mean
Yeah,
with all that considered, it's just like okay, okay.
yeah. It's barely even a fight.
Yeah.
It's a fight because it's a tournament and and like it's specifically being classified in universe as a fight.
It's always really hard to like suss out what like the actual like what really is a fight,
Right.
right? Like is it and it doesn't even always have to be like a physical fight. Like
Yeah,
yeah,
mental
it's
battles
so
count too.
uh-huh. So
And we'll get more
it's
of
hard to
those.
like find a consistent definition.
Yeah. But if you want a really good fight, that's what the last fight of this round is for. Yusuke versus Chu.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yusuke finally fucking wakes up.
yeah, wake the fuck
He
up.
was sleeping the whole time.
Uh, I just want to talk about Chu because as
Mm-hmm.
soon as he steps in, he just kind of owns the scene. He's really fun. He's just this crazy drunk that everybody just kind of underestimates, and then he just starts whooping Yusuke's ass.
Oh yeah, I feel like we're gonna keep I'm gonna keep coming back to this a couple times, but I find it really weird that Shu like he literally just fucking offed two of his teammates. Um like
I mean,
so they went through all the trouble of like having rock paper scissors or whatever to like decide who would who would actually be
fighting
who would be fighting and who would be the whatever it's called,
the alternate.
the alternate, yeah. So like I like get the impression that they have like this kind of like camaraderie like as a team, like because obviously if Shu didn't give a shit about his team at all, he would have just fucking killed one of them right there so we could fight. But so they all decided, okay, we all respect each other, but we all want this, so we're just gonna play rock paper scissors, and whoever gets to fight, and that's how it is. And then when it finally comes down to it, Shu just fucking kills them.
I mean,
It,
they were running off. I'm sure that was like punishment for running off. I didn't
yeah,
really get the idea that there was any sort of camaraderie there. They
I
just
feel
sort of
like
it sort of
it's like implicit in like how they set everything up. I don't know.
it seemed more like a grouping up out of convenience thing. Like, oh, you're strong. I'm putting together a dark tournament team. You're at Roto. You're in. Rinku. You're in. Chu. You're in. The only real
You know what? Yeah, I could
camaraderie.
totally see
The
that.
only real camaraderie I think is between Chu and Rinku.
Hmm. The
Everybody else
two
seems
people,
just kind of like a jackass.
yeah, the two people who have unique designs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Um.
could totally see that as like they only came together just so they could have a full team, and part of like the part of like the agreement was that you know they would
Don't
decide like via
don't
rock
pussy
paper
out.
scissors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so whoever gets the short end of the stick, it's whatever.
And that's true. But he's here now, and he's just It's just amazing. Once again, I feel like with the extending scenes and adding scenes, the, an- the anime really kind of brings out the full best of Chu. More zany expressions, the benefits of voice acting. It's all huge boosts to both him and this fight. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
And Yusuke's pretty great here too. Yusuke's confidence as the fight starts is a it's a great kickoff to what's pretty much his first real even fight of the series, and honestly one of his best fights
Hmm.
overall.
Yeah, that's one thing that I noticed. Like, it was really it. I think it was really his only fight where it was like an even like back and forth fight, and not just him being way stronger than his opponent or his opponent being way stronger than him and him having to overcome that.
Right. Yeah, I think so. And I think that's having him having him not be like totally like outclassed by Chu is important to really kind of sell how much better Yusuke has gotten. But we also couldn't have just like another one-sided beatdown. So making this fight that even really kind of it helps the story and it
Mhm.
helps the fight itself.
Definitely.
And, and Chu has a lot of fun moves. He's got that drunken fist going on, swaying all about, and he's got his secret technique, pulling out that bottle of like super demon liquor, chugging it all down, and then like everybody feels his Reiki, his spirit energy like flaring up, and they're like, "What's he gonna do? What's gonna happen?" And then he just goes to the side of the ring and pukes it all up. And then we get his real secret technique, which is mixing spirit energy and alcohol into what's essentially like a Hadouken.
Yeah, at first I was like, is that a Rasengan? Then he threw
Yeah,
it. Um,
yeah, that's a it's a fun time we're having here. Oh yeah, I wanted to mention at early on in the fight, Yusuke charges up a spirit gun and then just kind of fires it away, and that's kind of like to illustrate a point. But it's here that he mentions that there's a limit on the spirit gun. He's up to 4 shots per day, and like I forget I it's been a while since I've read the Chapter Black and Three Kings arcs. I'm not sure if it's kept to this limit, but throughout the Dark Tournament, Yusuke does have this limit the whole time. He's got four
yeah,
shots of the spirit gun per day, and I love that we get this tangible limit. It's not like
yeah,
it's
you know in your mind like how much he's got left. So
yeah,
it's kind of like how is he gonna, do what he has to
parcel them
do?
out. Is he
Yeah.
going to parcel them out? How's he going to use them? When is he going to use them? It's not like like the Kamehameha, where it's like it's as strong and Goku has as many as he's got left. Like the story itself just dictates what he's got left in
Hmm.
him. Whereas with Yusuke, we've got this tangible limit and it sticks to it. And I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
There's also a kind of similar thing in Naruto where Sasuke has like a certain number of Chidoris that he could do in a day, and then whenever he tries to go over it, he like fucking kills himself almost.
Is that a thing? I
Yeah,
forget.
that happened in the Chunin exams.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, I remember
he like
now.
tried to do it against Gaara and he couldn't, and like he passed out or something,
A little
something like that.
spooky.
Um,
So
but
yeah,
well, with Shu, uh, for like being like a drunken fist master, I don't know about you, but like in the manga, I really didn't get. I feel like he didn't do any like drunken fist techniques or anything. Like
I
I
think
don't know.
it. I think it comes through more in the anime with the benefit of motion.
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like
what I
that's
was thinking.
this is
It's
definitely
really
a
hard to
fight you
picture. Yeah,
should watch in the anime. I would recommend.
it's hard to tell in the manga.
Yeah, and then we get to the final phase of this fight. That's something I wanted to mention. What I think makes a good shonen fight, it's phases. you can kind of tell, but you can kind of parcel it, chop up the fight in your mind. Like here, you have
Yeah.
phase one, which is like the fist on fist Suiken brawl. Yusuke's trying to figure out Chu's movements. Then we move on to phase two, which is after Chu drinks the thing and he starts throwing the Hadoukens and Yusuke's busting out a spirit gun. And then we get to phase three, which is the knife edge death match. Being able to kind of parcel it out like that in your mind, I think helps a fight stay in your mind better.
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of the knife edge death match, while it doesn't necessarily change how things are going in the fight drastically, it's a fun little thing that makes the fight more memorable. It's neat.
It's a great way to end it. I don't really. Oh, we get the popularity poll.
Oh, there was a popularity poll?
You didn't see it?
About that.
Well, there was actually two popularity polls, but this is the first of the two.
Right, it's a long arc.
So
was that the one where Kuwabara's friend is on there?
I was just gonna say that his fucking Kuwabara's friend is 9th place. I don't. Why?
I think it's just because a lot of the characters in the Spirit Detective saga are fucking boring.
But there's so many more characters. It's not that there's not enough characters. There's like
all fucking boring.
There's actual named characters with screen time.
Remember how interesting the Saint Beasts were, Dylan?
More than fucking Hiroshima, apparently. I don't get it.
I'm sure it's just because like girls reading thought he was handsome or something.
He's like a pretty boy, I guess. That's probably it.
Where's the love for my boy Okubo?
He was
got a job.
Yeah, so he was 9th place in Japan and 11th place in the United States. Which okay. Great.
Good job,
what a guy.
What a man.
Yeah, anyways, back to fucking Yusuke and Shu.
Yeah, they have the little knife edge death match and eventually Yusuke pulls out the win. Good job.
He does. He headbutts him and what's his name? Riku? Yeah. He's like, how the hell did Yusuke win? This guy has like a fucking hard ass skull. Yeah. Yusuke's like, what the fuck is even up with Yusuke? How is he like this?
He's probably got a concussion, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he was asleep for like 20 hours straight and then woke up and bashed his head into another man's head.
Yeah. I feel like he was like born with the body of a fucking like god somehow. It's so weird. It's always so weird in like anime where like the main character is just a regular kid who just happens to be like impossibly strong for some reason.
Like Itadori.
Yeah, or like Ichigo.
I always think of Itadori when I think of that.
Yeah.
Because I just think of like how Jujutsu Kaisen, most characters are even Jujutsu sorcerers are pretty normal, like bodily wise. They're just kind of normal humans with powers. And then there's Itadori who's able to casually jump 4 stories and crash through a window in the first episode.
Yeah. And like with Asta, at least Asta, like he literally put in the training. He wasn't like, he didn't start out like that. He just became so physically strong because of his training. But like characters
like Yusuke, with Yusuke we kind of get a reason through Kuwabara versus Risho, and that like if you're spiritually aware and you have spirit energy, it's constantly fortifying your body and stuff.
I don't think Yusuke was, well, okay, that makes an explanation now, I guess, but like growing up, like as apparently the biggest delinquent, the strongest delinquent, that doesn't explain that because I don't think he was spiritually well aware like at all until he died.
it's just like it's just like it's like a exaggeration of the reality.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting though.
So yeah, that's round one. We don't really get much time between round one and two in
Yeah,
the
because we skip over
in the
every other fucking team because nobody cares.
pretty much. Yeah. Well, we do see one, and it's the anime actually expands things a little bit. First of all, in the in both versions we see that because Yusuke kind of like went too wild with his spirit energy in round one, it's kind of on the back burner for now. He's not really able to tap into it,
Hmm.
I guess. In the manga, there's an additional scene where um, the alternate for Team Spirit Warriors, or whatever the team that fights Taguro alone is called, their alternate, Rugby, attacks Yusuke. He's not
Wait,
able to spirit gun him.
this is rugby?
Yes, this is where Rugby appears in the anime. A legendary Rugby.
He's anime only?
Yes.
I feel ashamed for not watching the anime.
The axe guy, yeah, the axe guy kills Rugby for trying to take down Yusuke outside the ring.
Damn. All right.
Yeah, you have to watch the anime. We have to see Rugby.
I need more rugby.
You gotta
True.
have more Rugby in my life. I've got to inject Rugby directly into my veins.
Yep.
Rugby. Um, uh, and oh yeah, we also see in both. I was surprised this wasn't an anime only scene. I was positive this was just like the anime showing us like the team early beforehand. But we get a scene of Team Doctor Ichigaki fighting in round one, and
Yeah, just to like build them
watching,
up.
just to like build them up, and also to kind of ruin the surprise about it because Kurama kind of guesses right off the bat that the three human people on that team are like somehow being brainwashed or something. But I'll get into that team and that fight once we get to it. I just wanted to mention real quick Keiko. She's actually kind of like she has an interesting reaction to all of this. In the anime, she has a little bit of a freak out during Yusuke versus Chu, but afterwards she kind of like she's more in line with how her manga counterpart is feeling, and it's that she's kind of intrigued by how Yusuke is acting in that she's kind of chill with what Yusuke is doing after the fact, and like she can kind of tell that this environment he's starting to like thrive in it more so than like the normal middle school they go to, and she's kind of interested in seeing, you know, how is this going to affect Yusuke? How is this going to change him? Is this really where he belongs? It's interesting to see that she's not just like, oh, this is bad because it's scary and we should go. She's kind of interested in seeing what's best for Yusuke and if
Yeah,
this environment is that.
there's more to it than, you know,
Yeah. And
just her being girl.
yeah. And we'll eventually see that it's not the right place for him, but that's a ways off. We'll get to that when we get to it. And I think the last thing to mention is that we get an update on the bracket, and it's not a regular ass bracket anymore.
Yeah, I that was so
Togashi,
weird.
Togashi loves his uneven brackets. The Hunter exam, the end of the Hunter exam has this exact style of tournament where it's all weird looking. It's like a girl only has to fight like 2 rounds, and Team Urameshi has to like fight like 4 more
Hmm.
because they're the underdogs, I guess. I'm assuming the cover story is that like it's based around how well the teams did in the first set of
Yeah.
rounds.
Well,
Where
yeah, that's the.
in actuality, it's just the committee fucking with Team Urameshi.
I feel like that was, yeah, that seemed to have been like greatly,
Implication.
yeah, implied here.
But that just means more fights for us. So fine by
That's
me.
cool. Yeah. Freaking. Does it mean more? Yeah, it does. It means one more fight than they would have gotten otherwise,
Right.
which is cool.
Yeah. So from the we forgot. We forgot to mention two things. One is that Koenma's adult or teenage body makes its debut here.
Yeah. I mean, he looked cool aside from the freaking the
Pacifier.
pacifier in his mouth. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's fun. I like that it keeps it.
It's great. It's great. It's
Uh,
just
for you anime only watchers, you might be surprised. Well, I'm sure you're not surprised to hear that all of those funny little cutaways to Baby Koenma and George Saotome, the Blue Ogre. I'm sure you're not surprised to hear those were all filler, because Blue Ogre is a filler character for the anime. But here's a handy little guide so that you kind of you know what's filler and what's not. If Koenma is in his teenage form for the whole scene, that's canon. If he's going between the two forms or just in his baby form, then that's filler until the final episode / chapter. There's my handy little guide for you. Take it with gusto.
I just took it. Took all of
Oh
it.
yeah, take.
Yeah.
And the last thing we forgot to mention was the blowback to the Dragon of the Darkness Flame, which is one of the most interesting things about it.
Oh yeah. Turns out she is fucking dumb.
Yeah. Well, it's not that he's dumb, it's that he was actually desperate. Kurama clarifies that like EA would not have been able to beat Zero if he hadn't just pulled out the strongest thing in his arsenal.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
And yeah, and that's it just kind of like it straight up cripples his arm. He's for like the next 2 rounds, his arm is just like no go if he can't use it. And
Really?
that's
I
yeah.
thought he could use it. It's just obviously he couldn't use the black flame dragon thing.
I mean, like when he's fighting the robot with Kurama, he falls and he catches himself on that arm, and he obviously catches himself, but like immediately just like falls over and he's clutching it in pain.
Okay.
And this like as we'll talk about more later, this whole arc, each character just kind of has their own little plot line about getting stronger, and Hiei's is built around mastering the Dragon of the Darkness Flame. And like the first half of that is just dealing with the blowback of using it the first time. He's trying to live and handle himself with his arm all fucked up. And then in round 3, like the way it kind of like starts to heal and stuff. And then we'll get, he does more with it in the last 2 rounds, but that's just a thing that kind of colors this next few rounds of the tournament. He is just being like secretly down an arm and trying to fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we move into round 2 against Team Dr. Ichigaki. But I have a lot to say about this round, but let you go for it first.
I don't really have much to say about it, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah, because it's fucking boring.
yeah. I mean, it was actually pretty okay. What I did actually really like was how they were split up, where uh Kurama and Hiei, they were
They're in the
off on their
forest.
own, and then the other 2 guys from Dr. Ichigaki's team just show up. So they're still all like in the tournament, like facing each other, and kind of in like a team format. They're just split up into 2 different sections, which is
Yeah,
I thought
that's
that was
fun.
really cool.
Yeah, I enjoy that. That's one of the more memorable things about this round.
Mm-hmm.
That and that and Kuwabara's side of things. Kuwabara has this like psychic vision that he plays off as a dream the night before that tells him that the backstory of the three brainwashed humans, and kind of his whole side of the fight until he's taken out of it is him trying to reach them and trying to get them to break out of the mind control. And it's I even though this is my least favorite round of the Dark Tournament, I always remember the way Kuwabara acts here because he's got a big heart. He's got a lot of sympathy, and he's just trying to. He doesn't want to hurt these guys because he knows that there are good guys deep down, and he almost gets
Hmm.
himself killed over it. It's really sweet.
Yes.
But,
It was also interesting. Well, I guess we talked about a little bit about this earlier, where like Yusuke, for some like reason, he like overexerted himself in the first round, and so he lost his ability to create ray guns in
right.
this round. I think I I'm not I can't I'm not sure if he also lost his aura or not. I know he lost his aura in the first round after he ran out. I don't know if he got it
Yeah.
back here now. But
I think
so
I I
the
think the
first part of this, yeah.
implication I think the implication is that his aura and his spirit energy is just kind of dormant, and that's why
Yeah.
like he can't do spirit guns, but he also can't like see the powers of the other martial artists.
Yeah. Um yeah, so like for the first like part of this round, he's really just a liability to the others, which is kind of it's interesting to see considering Yusuke is like the main character, and for a lot of the series so far, he's been kind of like the centerpiece of
Right.
all of their
He's their
fights and
anchor.
everything. And so now he's like the liability until he
Yeah.
fucking rage boosts because
Yeah.
he's Yusuke.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It's
yeah.
fun, but I do have issues with this round, and I'll get into them. I'll get into them all now. I could never really put my finger on why I found this round kind of boring in past viewings, but I was able to kind of put it into words here. First of all, Yen, Kai, and Rio, the three like
Hmm.
brainwashed humans, they're serviceable in their roles, and you do want to see them be saved from the brainwashing. But like, well, they're part of the problem. First of all, um, well, first let me just double back to Yusuke and Kuwabara. They're essentially just kind of punching bags for most of this fight, being either unable or unwilling to use
Yeah.
their powers for most of the round. So that's the protagonist side of things. As for the antagonist side, they're kind of boring. The concept is interesting. Each team kind of has a concept behind them. This one has a pretty interesting one. But like the fighters themselves, the three main fighters, they're just mindless puppets, meaning there's no fun characterization from them like you get from characters like Chu or Jin or pretty much anybody on
Yeah.
Team Yuri Itogi. Ichigaki himself, while he's entertaining and how fucking over the top bonkers he is also pretty bare bones. And then M4 and M5 and the robot Grotescible or whatever, they're just pretty much nothing.
They're just there.
Yeah, they're there to fill up time and space,
They're
essentially.
just there to like occupy Hiei and Karama. That's it.
Yeah, some kind of mystery angle might have worked here. Like the fight is spent trying to figure out why these three human fighters are teamed up with Dr. Ichigaki, and then like, oh, what? I ripped his shirt and there's a thing on his back. What is this? Where are Karama and Hiei? Like a mystery angle could have helped this fight, but there's no mystery here. Kurama kind of calls it straight out that the three human fighters are being brainwashed. Thanks to Kuwabara's dream, we know their backstory and how this came about before the round even starts. Uh,
Yeah.
the blood saber node or the Veruca. is just plainly visible on one of their backs, so you know how that's working. And, you know, there's no mystery angle to it, which might have helped.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so, yeah, that's kind of how things are for this round. And while there is memorable stuff, the Kurama and Hiei's side of things, Yusuke's role reversal of being kind of the load here, Kuwabara's emotional side of things, it mainly just its best function. Round two's best function is as a stepping stone for round three, which is, I think we both agree, the best of
Yeah.
the rounds. Um, and yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty much all I had to say about round two. Although there's one thing we haven't mentioned yet, and that's the spirit wave. Genkai busts it out here, kind of.
I think it's a different. It's not right.
She
Right. It's a
call,
different thing.
she calls it the spirit wave.
Oh, I
I think.
maybe.
Like I said,
I
the
don't
spirit
think.
wave is
Yeah.
never very that
It's not
hardly
consistent.
defined.
It's not consistent with what we see of the spirit wave later.
Enkai calls describes the spirit wave back in her tournament as like an attack that's best used through a punch or a kick, and that's consistent with how Yusuke uses it against Jin. But here, she's calling this thing the spirit wave, and it's completely different. It's this big fucking thing that like purifies the three fighters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's very clearly like it's like a reversal technique in
yeah,
this where she like reverses someone's reiki back on themselves,
right.
which yeah, that's cool. That's very clearly different from a technique where you use your own reiki to just send out a wave to
Yeah,
attack someone. So
yeah,
it's probably just a translation thing.
maybe. It might be, yeah. But that's pretty much it for the round itself. Doctor Ichigaki, in order to try and save his own skin, injects himself with a funny little froth that makes him turn into a monster. But Yusuke just punches him once and he's dead, or not dead actually. I'm pretty sure the later chapter's cover page kind of implies he's still alive, but I digress. We'll get to that when we get to it. In the anime, Ichigaki's able to fight for a little bit longer, but he still gets his ass whooped. The three fighters, they're alive. Their master, he's alive and cured. They're all cured, and they leave to never be seen again outside of a cameo or two,
Yep.
because they're boring. We don't want to see them come back as much as we want to see the
They
likes of like
they
Yu and
show
Jin
up
come
on
back.
like they show up in like one or two cover pages like that just show all of the characters who
Yeah,
aren't
and and
nothing.
we see them as spectators for Yusuke versus Taguro like twice, along similar to how we see some of the other guys watching. It's just like two little quick appearances, and then never again because they're boring. So that's round three or two, and as I said before, its main purpose, or at least its best purpose, is just as a stepping stone into round three, which is coming right now. The committee decides like, okay, we're getting right into the next round. The next round is Team Urameshi versus Team Masha, or Team, what were they called? Spirit Team
Shadow channelers.
Shadow Channelers. That's what the manga calls them. In the anime, they're just Team Masha.
Yeah, because they yeah,
Because they're shinobi.
yes.
They're ninja. It's Naruto now.
Yes. And they're just as ninja-like as the ninjas from Naruto.
Yep, because they show up in this big bombastic display of power in these
Yes.
big costumes that these
Definitely brings Plenty of attention to them,
Yep.
as it
Showing off their
should.
powers. Their
Yes.
powers that are very good for fighting directly in destruction and not at all being stealthy.
Yes.
Maybe Bakens is kind of stealthy, but
I feel like Jin can also be stealthy because he could like fly and stuff, but
yeah, that's fair.
um, yeah,
Yeah.
not yeah, just not the best group of ninjas, I'd say.
Well, why isn't there like a subgroup of Team Masho that have a different name and are not called ninjas, but they're actually acting like ninjas? We'll call them the Anbu.
Yes.
I can't wait till we read Naruto. I just want to harp on the Anbu forever.
They have real ninjas, but
Yeah, and they don't call them ninjas.
yes. um yeah, so
Round three, the committee says round three starts now, and that's kind of like the tone setter for this whole round. All throughout, one of the best aspects of it is that committee keeps just fucking with Team Urameshi to try and get him to lose. Like almost every
mhm.
single round, they have some sort of like shit call that fucks things up for them. The first of these is obviously starting the round now when everybody's kind of fucked up. Hiei's arm is still fucked up. Genkai is drained from using the spirit wave. Yusuke, he's got his spirit energy back, but he's still a little beat up. Kuwabara is just on fucking death's door. Kurama's the only one that's really all that fresh.
Yeah, he hasn't really done much.
And then after, well, first
Well,
before the round starts, there's an announcement like, okay, since Murameshi is fighting one round after another, we'll give him a second. They can go to the little medical tent over there.
yeah, how nice of them.
Yeah, that's so nice of them.
I can't believe it. They're actually being mindful. They're like, well,
Yeah,
I know we
and
just
I know we
thrust
just
them
fought.
into this whole other fight, but I guess we'll give them a
Yeah,
chance to recover for at least a minute.
and look, the nurse, she's bangable.
Yes, even better.
Look, she has candy and $10,000 cash. Walk over to her.
Yeah. So she's like
Trap.
they're like, shouldn't you check out Kuwabara first? He's kind of
He's
like
dying.
dying right there. And she's just like, nah, you guys come with me.
Yeah, it's just Hiei and Genkai, and she ends up trapping them in a barrier because, surprise, surprise, she's a fucking bad guy. Ruka, the enchantress.
Yeah, she just traps them in a barrier, even
Yeah,
though they were already like mostly
fucked up.
useless.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing
So
Kurama brings up. He's just like they helped less than the committee wanted to because those two probably weren't going to be able to fight anyway.
yeah, I don't like get it because like she clearly chose them because they were so banged up.
I
So
I
why?
don't think so. I think it's because like she saw that they had some injuries, which was like an excuse, but like after the first two rounds, they
Maybe be
obviously thought like, okay, Hiei and the masked fighter, those are the two biggest
yeah,
thorns in our side. Let's get them out of
they
the way.
both had the biggest like the best showing so far, right?
Yeah,
So
between the spirit wave and the dragon, they had the most bombastic showing.
okay, that makes sense.
Ruka herself, in the anime, it's never really clear what she's aligned to. Like, is she just part of the under the committee's thumb? Is she connected to Team Masho? Is she actually a nurse? It's never really clear in the anime. The manga actually kind of makes it clear later with a scene that was cut from the anime that she is actually part of the
The committee.
the medical staff of the Dark Tournament.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
The fact that she's a nurse isn't just like a fucking disguise.
Yeah. Well, the
Yeah,
way I saw it was she was like a nurse, but she was like clearly like obviously under the thumb of the committee.
yeah,
So yeah.
right. It's just that the anime never makes it clear. Like, is she actually a nurse or is she something else?
Hmm.
But yeah, that's That's how we're going into round three. Two of the members are made illegal. Yusuke is a little banged up. Kuwabara's bleeding out over there, and Kurama's just Kurama. So
Kurama's
that's
mostly good.
yeah. So we have it's not just the characters, going in fresh like in round one and round five. It's a fun little. It's fun. It's an extra layer to the peril and the intrigue beyond just these guys are strong.
They are very strong, strong,
Strong.
strong.
Um, yeah. Round one is Kurama versus Gamma. What'd you think?
Gamma. Um.
Makeup boy.
Uh. That was an interesting power.
Yeah,
That was it.
Kurama. I love Kurama or Gamma's powers because they come sandwiched between the basic energy powers in round two and all the elemental powers of the rest of his team.
Mm-hmm.
And the fight itself is pretty fun. It's mostly just set up for the circumstances of Kurama versus Toya, but it showcases fun powers. Gamma as a character is like he's kind of deeper than you expect on closer inspection. Is like he's out there, he gives his life so that the rest of his team can take out Kurama and win. And then you learn what Team Masha is fighting for, and you kind of wonder like where was he on that? Like was he kind of out there for freedom like Jin and Toya, or was he there for like more unscrupulous reasons like Risho and Bakken? You don't know. You can kind of think on that. And Kurama's usual tactics of observing, countering, backfire, and that's actually kind of a fun subversion of things. But he ends up killing Gamma in one of the coolest ways possible.
Yes, he does the I cut you and if you move you will die move.
Yeah,
I love it.
he does a thorn whip with his hair.
Oh yeah. Okay, that didn't make any sense.
What do
I
you
swear
mean?
to fucking
You whip his hair back and forth.
I don't know, man. I don't
I love
know.
it. I love it. I certainly wouldn't rip it off in my own story.
I don't know.
I
I don't know how I feel about that. But yeah, it was cool.
like it. I mentioned Team Masha's motivations. I feel like that's one of the most interesting things about them, wanting to live in the bright, open human world, and you can kind of read into what each character would want from that. For
Mm-hmm.
Jin and Toy, it's about the freedom. For Risho and probably Bakken, it's more about like asserting power and gaining ground for their shinobi mission. For Gamma, you can't really tell, but maybe it's about the freedom because Toya seemed kind of broken up about his death. It's kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
It's more character than you'd expect. That's
Yeah.
something we learn
One thing
with
about
Toya.
Gamma, I feel we were talking about how like their powers aren't really that suited to being ninjas. I think Gamma actually has like a pretty decent like ninja move because like he can
He
pretty
does,
much
yeah.
he could kind of paralyze people and like in the end he gives his life to
The mission, yeah.
to the mission to defeat his opponent to at least contribute to his team. So that's kind of like ninja like I feel like less of
Yeah.
like a regard for his own life and more like completing the mission at all costs.
Yeah.
Which that's pretty cool, I guess.
It's fun, yeah. Yeah. Now we move on to round two, Kurama versus Toya. Uh, it's less like I think. I don't think the manga mentions it, but the anime makes it clear like this is another committee fucking with them maneuver because like Yusuke is like he's gonna come in there and pull out Kurama, but then the announcer comes on it and he's like, no fighter can be removed beyond their will. The next fight is Kurama versus Toya.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well, to be fair, I feel like that would be a pretty
fair assessment.
yeah, a pretty fair rule to have.
I guess, yeah.
But still, it could totally just be them fucking with
Yeah.
Team Urameshi again.
Team Urameshi.
You,
Yeah.
yeah, Urameshi. Ooh.
Urameshi.
Um,
So what you think of Kurama versus Toya?
I don't really have too many thoughts on the fight itself, although I think I like how we've kind of been established this hierarchy of ice demons.
Oh yeah.
Because just randomly we've just had three ice demons in the series so far, which is
Apparently,
weird. Consider,
apparently
yeah.
Yukina is stronger than Seiryu.
I don't
There's like a
real.
little hierarchy chart, and she was above Seiryu.
I'm not sure if like that is the case. My understanding was that like um Seiryu is more of like a fighter and Yukina would be more of like a support kind of person, and that's why they were like sort of on the same level, but like it was like side to side, like a triangle almost.
No, Yukina could punch Seiryu in the face and he'd explode. I
Yes,
demand.
yeah, and then Toya is just up there. He could do everything because he's Ice Master or whatever. But
I think Toya is probably one of Kurama's more interesting opponents. You want to know why?
yeah, I would love to hear it because I do not think so.
Unlike someone like Genbu or Gama who don't like underestimated Kurama's strategic mind,
Hmm.
Toya takes it very seriously,
Oh yeah,
and like it kind of negates Kurama's greatest strength, but at the same time he may have taken it too seriously. It's like at the start of the fight he's taking it very seriously. He's just like, after that, after what you did to Gama, even with your spirit energy locked, I don't want to get close to you. I'm going to kill you from afar. And
yeah.
eventually,
He
this
he was so cautious that he ended up running out all of the time that was bought for him with Gama's life.
exactly, yeah. If he had gone for the direct kill with that ice sword right away, then Kurama probably would have died.
Yeah,
But the
because
fact that
yeah,
Toya took his time let Kurama think of the gambit of like putting the death seed in his own blood to reach his locked away spirit powers.
yeah,
It's fun. It's a neat little thing. Toya's ice powers are just kind of standard ice powers, but it's a fun fight. Fun time.
mm-hmm. Um,
Kurama passes out on his feet.
yep, which is cool. And then
Yeah.
uh
Enter Bakken.
that fucking rule came
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, Kamini's just like, Kurama's standing in the ring. He obviously wants to fight.
Yeah.
Even Koto at this point, she's just like, well, what do I do? What do I do?
She,
Okay, team captains decide. I guess it's Yusuke versus Bakken. And then the committee's like, no, Kurama versus Bakken. And Koto's just like, wait, what?
this
Hold
happens a
on, I'm
couple
unclear.
times where Koto just like she's clearly like my fucking voice. She's clearly like more of an like an actual like she's a fair judge, and so
Yeah,
she always ends up on like Yusuke's team's side just because they're like actually playing by the rules and like playing fairly,
yeah.
and
I,
so it comes out a couple times, and I really like it.
I love that too. I like the way even Koto eventually ends up on their side just
Yeah.
because of how far the committee's going and fucking with them.
Hmm. Which I really like that. She's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. So yeah, Kurama versus Bakken. I wonder who's gonna win.
Kurama, he's actually a master of the sleeping fist technique. Did you know?
He's a master of the Nappy Boy style.
Yes. Kurama is actually the real inspiration for Zenitsu.
That's correct.
Yes.
Uh, nah, but this is just Bakken beating up Kurama's body for a little while until eventually
Oh
the
yeah.
eventually the team leader Risho just tells him to stop, and Bakunin's like, "Why? I was about to kill him." And he's just like, "Then you would have died." And you look over and you see Yusuke ready to blow Bakun's head off.
Yeah, that was fucking amazing. Oh
I
my
love
god,
that.
that was so
Top
good.
tier. Yeah.
Because
And
he was like gonna fucking do it. He was gonna fucking murder that dude.
absolutely, yeah.
I
He
love
he
it.
does not he did not care about the rules in that moment.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
It's
I love
because like everybody else is like just flagrantly like voiding the rules, and
that's
so like
that's the basis of what he is telling him later.
yeah, they
It's like
fucking pushed Yusuke so far that he's also like
up the rules.
yeah.
Enjoy that, yes.
hmm It's
So
all.
yeah,
I feel like it also kind of sets up like the thing later on where Yusuke
gets
when
disqualified.
what no like when his friends are at risk is when he's able to
Oh
really
yeah.
unleash his power. You know,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I get you. Definitely.
it sets up like his how much he cares about his friends and stuff.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about last time. That's the thing Genkai taught Yusuke that we flashed back to during his fight with Suzaku.
Yeah,
Part of what Genkai's trying to teach him is that he needs to like accept that he cares about these people and like fuel his strength with that. That's kind of like that's his arc for the first half of the series, and it really comes through during the Dark Tournament.
yeah. Especially when fucking Genkai's the one who initiates it in the final fight.
Yeah. Anyway, Yusuke versus Bakken, and it's just like a one-sided beatdown. Bakken pulls out his weird sweat steam powers, but it's literally nothing for Yusuke.
Yeah.
He breaks the fourth wall too.
Wait, he does?
Yeah, don't you remember the end of the chapter when they're fighting, and he's like, I have a prediction that I'm gonna finish this fight in a 2-page spread, and then
Oh
next
yeah, I
chapter
remember
he
that.
has they do that. They break the wall break the fourth wall a few times in this series in the manga, mostly in ways of like in speech, like for example, during round 4, Kuwabara when he says like I'm a master of rock paper scissors. There's a little note in his speech bubble that says "See Volume 3," referencing the Genkai tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I think it's the most like flagrant breaking of the fourth wall. Yusuke just saying, "I'm going to defeat you in a 2-page spread," and he does. Yusuke
He
just.
does.
I'm pretty sure Bakken's dead after this.
I mean, he got his ribs busted open, and then he got fucking 5 more of the same powered hits. Yeah, so
Yeah.
and he got blasted through a fucking wall.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm asserting this and like Dr. Ichigaki earlier because during Yusuke versus Taguro, there's like a 2-page spread showing a lot of Dark
mhm.
Tournament like just characters on
Yeah,
Yusuke's side. You have like all the Team Urameshi people, all the cheerleaders, and then like Genkai and Ryao, Chu, Rin, all that thing. On
yeah,
Taguro's side, you have Team Taguro, Sakyo, and then you have Shishi Wakamaru, Dr. Ichigaki, Risho, two of which like are confirmed alive because Risho we see in the infirmary in the manga. Shishi Wakamaru we later get confirmed is alive and doing stuff. So I think yeah, the implication that Dr. Ichigaki survived, even though he never shows up again.
yep.
Uh,
Anyways,
oh
that fight was there wasn't
yes,
really much to that fight. It was
yeah,
pretty much just building up to Yusuke's fight with Jin,
oh yeah, Jin,
which
my boy.
which that I like it because it starts off with Jin clearly doesn't give a single fuck about whatever that other guy was on about.
Yeah,
He's just like whatever,
Jin's a
let's
free
just fight.
spirit. Yeah, Jin is like Chu. He's able to have some fun with it and bring out Yusuke's able to have
Yeah.
some fun with it too.
He's like the cool he's like a cool rival character, even though
Yeah,
I don't know if he's ever gonna show up again, but he just he gives me that like he's just like a rival character. That's it.
yeah, he's fun. He's
It's
someone
great.
Yusuke can fight without having to like worry much about. Even
Hmm.
though like he's in the dark tournament, he can have some fun with this.
Yeah, it's just like a fight between two people that want to test themselves, and that's like it. It's got like literally nothing to do with um
Yeah,
any other conflicts in this arc. And
pretty much.
it's cool. It's nice to like just have a
It's like a
nice
break.
yeah, it's like a break. It's cool.
It's nice. And Jin himself is a very fun character. I love his Irish accent in the dub.
He's great.
He's a good time, and he has a lot. Even though elemental powers, you see a lot of them in fiction. He has some fun moves. I love the tornado fist. It just seems like something like a little kid would come up with, which I'm sure.
Well, yeah,
I can
absolutely something a kid comes up with.
I can see just like a little baby Jin being like, if I swear around my fist, I'll make a little super wind punch.
It's so weird because like it's just him moving his arm really fast, but like he has actual wind powers. So
And
it's just weird. Like couldn't he just make
I think
wind
it's just
around
like a
his
little.
hand?
I think that's what he's doing. The spinning his hand is just like a little startup.
Maybe. I thought it was I figured it was just like an artistic thing.
Maybe.
M-
Uh,
Maybe. I don't
yeah.
know. It doesn't really matter.
So yeah, so yeah, they fight for a little while, and eventually Yusuke's backed into a burp,
Yes.
and he has to pull out a move that he tried to learn, but he wasn't able to master. It's the spirit wave, and the way that it actually works.
Yeah.
You want to know how many times he uses the spirit wave in the series?
How many times does he use the spirit
Once,
wave in the series?
once here, and never again.
Oh man.
Yeah,
That's great.
good job. You really, with how much like Yusuke like taking on Genkai's will and taking on her teachings and stuff, you'd think the spirit wave would at least show up like in his fight with Toguro. But no,
Well,
it's
hmm,
here and never again.
I think the thing about the spirit wave, it honestly, I don't really get the spirit wave because like the whole point of the spirit wave is that it's like um you use it as like an area of effect kind of attack. Like you use it for on a bunch of different opponents at once. But the way he uses it here is he uses it as at close range to
Like a
get
super
like
punch.
yeah, all of the power into one concentrated area.
Isn't that
But
just a spirit gun
but that's
though?
what the spirit gun does.
Yeah, and at a range too.
And yes, well,
Yeah,
presumably it would be even stronger at close range, but still, it's like that's what the spirit gun is. So
yeah,
why would you have to use the spirit wave to accomplish the same thing? Wouldn't it be like the
yeah.
same power or even weaker?
Like I said, the spirit wave is an ill-defined, weird thing.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Uh, but yeah, the spirit wave ends up taking down Jin. Yusuke is the winner, except not really. It's the committee again. As soon as
Yeah.
Risho steps in, the backer of Team Masho, Butajiri, he just comes in and he's just like, you can beat him, right? And Risho's just like, why don't you just keep doing what you have been doing if you want the win? Butajiri's just like, oh yeah, money. So he goes back to the committee and they just basically say like when Yusuke was out of bounds, Kodo didn't count fast enough. It's a double knockout, which means Risho's the last one left standing, and it looks like Team Urameshi just got cheated out of their win. And this is when a scene, a Hiei scene that I really really love happens, Yusuke is just like shocked, and Hiei just kind of starts talking from behind Ruka's barrier. It's just like you know that they've been flaunting the rules this whole time. If you're angry about it, why don't we just go wild? He is really just like the devil on Yusuke's shoulder, and Kuwabara is
Yeah,
the angel on his other shoulder.
it's great.
I love
Kuwabara?
it.
You mean Kurama?
No, Kuwabara steps in. He wakes up from being fucking unconscious, half dead,
Hmm.
and he's just like, "We still got a fighter left. We can still go on." And he just kind of like he basically tells Yusuke like, let's be better than them. We can't. Let's not just go rampaging like them. Let's win this like real men.
Hmm. The
Come on,
real man that is Kuwabara.
Kuwabara. Yeah,
Also Kurama.
yeah. Kurama too.
Yeah.
He's very sensitive about that. Apparently, he's very sensitive about being mistaken for a girl in like one of the last chapters.
Great.
Right.
So, anyways,
Kuwabara. Kuwabara
Kuwabara.
versus Risho.
I don't
Probably my
remember
favorite.
what the fuck happens in this fight.
It's probably one of my favorite Kuwabara fights.
Oh,
I
oh
hope.
yeah. Because
I hope.
fucking Yukina shows up.
Yeah, Yukina shows up finally, and she's able to watch and get into the stadium
Yeah,
full of the other cheerleaders.
that's why I couldn't remember what happened in this fight because nothing happened in this fight.
I think it's
Be-
more the anime
no,
expands
no, it's
it
good. It's
as
good.
usual. But like, I always remember it because like as we were saying before, like this round starts with like half of the team like just fucked up beyond belief, and like it's gotten to the point where they have to send Kuwabara in when he is just like 99% dead already, just beaten to just like a bloody pulp. In the anime, like once again the addition of like movement and stuff, but specifically sound effects, because when he moves, you can hear like his bones crunching and crumbling, and it's just so like, ugh, you can feel it. You feel it in yourself. You go like, ugh, that was a bad one.
Yeah.
And Kuwabara just gets the tar beaten out of him for most of this fight, and like he can't make a spirit sword, and he's wondering what's going on. Risha's just like, you can't make your spirit sword because your spirit energy is being used to keep you alive. You're mostly dead right now. Yeah, and it gets to the point where Kuwabara is going to pull out the same thing, same kind of trick Yusuke pulled against Suzaku, and harness his life energy, essentially give up his life to take out Risho, and secure the kill, secure the win for his team. I love this because we get so much build up. We get like his
Hmm.
little thoughts about his team, like saying goodbye. Like Kurama, you always talked smart at me. I'm gonna miss you. Urameshi, you gotta bring this home for us. And we get this dramatic ass build up. It looks like Kuwabara is about to give his life. The music swells, and then he sees Yukina, and instantly he just
He just gets
bashes
stronger.
Risho in the he just bashes Risho in the head, knocks him out of the stadium, and he's just like, Yukina, hi! He just wins like that. I love this.
It's
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 so
great.
great. I got a boner! And he just bashes Risho aside. It's honestly amazing.
uh, that was good. I, I, I don't even. When I was reading it, I was like, I guess this fight was just here to give an excuse for Kuwabara to win. But I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's good either
I,
way.
I think this is one of Kuwabara's finest moments. I love it.
It's good, yeah. It's very much in line with his character.
Yeah,
He is a special boy.
special little lad. So that was round three, and they won, and that's pretty cool. We finally get a little bit more downtime with the characters, and we have a nice little conversation between Yusuke and Keiko. It's not really all that crazy, but like they just kind of they reflect on how much growing up they've been doing, especially Keiko. But
Yes. She has
and
grown her ass.
yeah,
That's the most
that's what
important part.
that's what Yusuke is all about in this scenario.
Yep.
Yeah, confirmation. Yusuke's an ass man.
Yes.
And yeah, it's just a cute little thing. Keiko tells him to don't go losing. Does a little finger gun at him.
She
It's
also
cute.
says bang, or I think.
Yeah, bang.
That's great.
Yeah, she's having fun with it. She's not just being a wet blanket about things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and from
really cool.
there,
Like it's actually cool though. It looks really cool. Just a
yeah,
nice
it's
moment.
nice. It's a nice moment. These shonen manga, they're not known for their romance, obviously, but these two have great chemistry, and I think we've been saying so since the start.
Yeah. More than others
Yeah.
out there.
Mhm.
Um
Uh, and from there
Koenma.
we get Koenma. He's got an egg. It was something you told them about before round two. We just didn't mention it because it's actually
Whatever.
important here. Yeah, whatever. It's the spirit beast egg Yusuke had at the start of the series. We thought it was just gone after Koenma used its energy to. Or wait, was that just the anime? Was the egg involved in the fire bit in the manga? I forget.
It I don't think they directly mentioned the egg, but it was like implied because we knew like that the egg was like using his
Right.
that's what was storing his spirit energy so he could come back to life.
Something like that. The egg's back. We had thought it was just gone, but it turns out it just got set back to zero, and Koenma kept it,
Yeah.
and it's just been filling up on the good vibes since then, and now it's about ready to hatch, and that's neat. It's like a little bond creature for Yusuke, and it hatches here, and it's poo.
Pooh.
Yeah,
I
it's
gotta
poo.
say, I never expected anything like this ever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, nobody who was Koenma and Botan just burst out laughing at how stupid it looks.
It's so dumb. It looks like it's
It's a
just
mascot.
yeah, but it's like a weird looking like yokai looking mascot.
It's like a little penguin with big elephant ear wings and little shaggy little black hair on top.
Yes.
That flies around going poo.
Pooh.
Everyone gets a kick out of it. I like that.
It's so
Yus-
weird.
Yusuke's just sitting there fuming like, God, could have had a dinosaur. God damn it.
Yes. He wanted a fucking dinosaur.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. I'm sure if he was told like he would have just like a straight up familiar, like a Bond creature, I'm sure he would have been like, yeah, I want like a red dragon with knives for arms and three laser eyes. He's stuck with poo.
I love this one panel where Yusuke just shows up, like all angry looking with his arms held out, all muscly, and Pooh's just on his head and everybody's fucking laughing at him.
Yeah,
It's
I
so
love
good.
that. Yeah, that's like what I was talking about with Hiei in last episode. Yusuke's become, so tough and strong. He's the anchor of the team. But there are times like this where everybody can just agree, like, this is fucking stupid. Let's laugh at his face.
It's great. He's so mad.
He's, he's so angry.
It's
Who's
great.
great?
Yeah.
Who's great? Not just for that, but like who has a role in all of this, which I'll get to once we're a few chapters into this. But yeah, from there we move into the reveal of the masked fighter. Like, do you know who it is? Can you guess who it is? It's a big twist.
Kirishima, because he placed ninth in the last popularity poll.
You're right.
Yes. Yep.
It's Genkai, much to everyone's non-surprise. And we're explaining that like the young face she had when it was revealed during round two, that was uh, it's kind of like a Deus Ex Machina kind of a thing. It's something that we did not know about spirit energy. That was just kind of it's only a role in the story is to facilitate this little twist here. Yeah,
Yes.
I digress. Whatever. We're still
Yeah,
learning about
wouldn't
all this shit.
it's weird that we haven't seen her like look younger before, right? We what like when she uses her Reiki or whatever the fuck it's called.
I I maybe it's just like when you got a lot of it going.
Perhaps.
I don't
Hmm.
know. It's just like it kind of makes sense as a thing in the how it works, but it's also just like a blatant addition to how spirit energy works to make this all happen.
Yeah, I whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not like there wasn't room for that. It's not like we
yeah.
have like a
It's not
hard
like this.
power system right here.
Yeah,
So,
this is not a hard power system. It's fine to like add stuff on. This is just
yeah.
I'm just pointing out this is its only real role in the story as a whole. This idea of like, oh, you revert back to your prime.
Yes.
So yeah, we're finally getting some more one on time with Yusuke and Genkai, and I always enjoy this section because I feel like this is the point where their dynamic is really coming into his own. The way they like
Mhm.
snip and pick at each other, but they still really care for each other.
Yeah,
Genkai
it was kind of hard
Genkai
to get
makes
that earlier just
yeah.
in their previous interactions.
Well, that's just because they rarely interacted. Like they didn't really talk much during the tournament. They had that quick flashback to the during the fight with Suzaku, but that was just that. It was a quick flashback,
Mhm.
and that was pretty much it. She wasn't really acting like Genkai as the masked fighter. So this is our first real extended one-on-one time with them.
Yeah, it's cool.
I appreciate that Genkai's making a lot more Yusuke-esque faces and comments from here on out. It really kind of shows that these two are not so different in personality.
Yeah,
They're really just both kind of assholes.
we all love our assholes, don't we?
Oh yeah, and yeah, from there we are moving into the final test, Genkai's final test. The first part is that she tells Yusuke he's gonna have to kill her for it, and that's a little thing we gotta wrestle. Yusuke's got to wrestle with for a little bit, and eventually he comes back and he just says like, "Yeah, if I need to kill you to get this power up, I'm not gonna do it. You're like the only adult in my life I can somewhat count on and somewhat takes me seriously, so I don't want to lose you." And
Yeah,
it's a sweet little moment, and then
he's Yusuke.
yeah, it's revealed that he passed the test anyway because the test was actually like you're supposed to say no, but you also can't say no immediately. I don't want to be training a pussy that wouldn't like you at least think about killing me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so from there we get a one of the things that makes round four my second favorite of these rounds, which is the cross cutting to Yusuke's spirit wave ordeal thing, where he's trying to take in all of the stored power from Genkai to give him the boost he needs to take down Tagura. And we can talk more about that as we go. So we can now switch over to our next set of opponents. Well, actually, first let me just mention the stadium. We moved to a new stadium now that we're in the semifinals, and it's very it's much like the first stadium looked normal, but the new stadium is so like creepy and it's very HR Geiger esque. I love it. What did you think of the new stadium? Do you like it more than the plain old one?
It's demony.
Yeah, it's very demon esque.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's cool. It sets the stage for like a more I guess like
Brutal.
a more brutal final two rounds, yeah.
Yeah. And this is also where Jury comes in, the new referee and best girl.
Yes. No, but yes also.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean they're there. It's a
Yeah.
stadium.
And this is also where we're also meeting Team Yuriatogi, or as the manga calls them, Team Fractured Fairy Tales. And these are, I'd say these are my favorite enemy team, and which makes it my second favorite of the different rounds. Because personally, I'm a sucker for magical items and weapons, and I like that. Like, yeah, I've mentioned before, each team has like a theme to them. This is the only one where the theme is like on purpose. They're specifically trying to have this theme to them.
Yes.
And it's not even for some big reason. It's just because Shishi Wakamaru and Suzuki want to be popular.
Who wouldn't want to be popular with all those fairy tales that
Yeah,
I don't know about?
yeah. That in the manga's translation and probably the Japanese anime, they were a lot more like straight up in referencing the different like
Yeah.
Japanese fairy tales they were mentioning.
I mean,
To the
like,
point,
how are you gonna
to,
fucking translate that?
yeah, to,
You just
to
gotta know.
to the point where like I had to like Google a few things because I was confused to whether or not they were talking about like an actual character in Yu Yu Hakusho or if they were just referencing their fairy tale.
Yeah. I just sort of, I just accepted it. I was just like, okay, I guess that's a thing.
Yeah, and it's not even a thing. Yuri Urashima just admits straight out like this is all bullshit. We're not even like who we say we are. This is
Yeah,
just like this is a get up. I don't. I just work here, man.
I'll take your word for it. I
Yeah,
don't, I don't
I
know.
don't. I don't think they're actual reincarnations of fairy tale characters. I think they're. I think Shishiwakamaru and Suzuki are just drama queens.
Yes, that seems to be the case.
I can dig that.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, and yeah. So we start off with round one. PA versus McIntaro.
Oh,
The
we didn't
law,
even mention
but but
Yusuke and the Genkai just aren't there. So
oh yeah,
it's another round where they're it's three of them versus a full team of five.
yeah, that's true.
I
Yeah,
feel like they're just so handicapped every single round, and it's great.
it is. It really. It's a lot more interesting than if all five were just going in fresh every single time.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I was saying he's actually participating this round. He hasn't had a real like sanctioned in the tournament fight since Zero, where he busted out the dragon for the first time.
Yeah,
Yeah, and fair
fucks him
enough.
up.
He was pretty much hobbled by the whole like dragon thing this whole time, and only recently started to get better. So similar to how like we were waiting to see what Yusuke was made of after his training with Genkai. We're all everyone's kind of waiting to see what's Hiei gonna be able to bust out here, and like I think I think Togashi knew people were anxious to see more of Hiei because like Hiei says straight out in the story itself, like as they're doing this cool dice roll thing to decide matchups, he's just like, If it lands on Yusuke or the Masked Fighter who aren't here, I'll take their place. And if it lands on choose the person, I also want to do it. So that's like 4 chances for Hiei to fight. And
Yep.
and he ends up going first. Hiei versus McIntyre, the longest, most involved fight in the series.
He just fucking swords him.
Yeah. He straight up cuts off his arm immediately. Straight up, you are already dead. But this time it's you are already not armed.
You are already pirate.
Yeah, and then he just stabs him from the top of the head through to the chin. It's dang brutal, and I like it.
Yeah.
And that's just a quick little thing, like a lot of Hiei's fights. And now we move into what I consider probably Hiei's best fight in the series, and my personal favorite fight of his. One of my favorite fights in the series, honestly, Hiei versus Kuro Momotaro. And it is my favorite Hiei fight because it's his only real even one in the entire series, honestly.
This fight was really weird for me. I
You
don't
don't
know,
like
just
it?
this. Uh, I guess it was good. I don't. I just thought this guy was like, just he just had a weird power set.
Kuro?
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was I just like adaptive powers in general. Like the idea of somebody just kind of learning and getting better like in the middle of a fight
Hmm.
is fun. And Kuro Momotaro, he does it in a cool way and like going with his theme. He's got these little kibidongo balls that he inhales the smoke from, like as a reference to Momotaro, like the fairy tale,
Hmm.
and he takes on he transforms based on one of the animals of the from the fairy tale, and each time he does so, he's gained immunity to Hiei's attacks. The first one was the swords. Second one was the fist of the mortal flame, just regular fire punch instead of like Black Dragon stuff. And then the third time, I forget if it was like any
I don't
like he
think
was
he.
gaining it.
I think he just got stronger.
Right, he just wanted to change to the
Yeah.
um, dog form to get claws and stuff to kill Hiei with.
Yeah. That was
Yeah,
pretty much it. Well, I think also he was just kind of showing off because he thought he like
he thought he had it in the
he thought
bag.
yeah he thought he beat Hiei already.
Yeah, I just enjoy a Hiei fight lasting for more than like half a chapter at most,
Yeah, it's definitely cool.
and it has a fun end. He busts out a technique of channeling hellfire through his sword. And the only reason that he hasn't done it so far is that he doesn't like it because it reminds him of Kuwabara and his sword.
Yes.
That's fun. It fits Hiei very well. Actually, in the dub, they actually changed this technique a bit. They connect it to the Dragon of the Darkness Flame, saying he's channeling that through his sword.
Ha-
I actually kind of prefer that. I think it adds to the overarching story of Hiei gaining control of the dragon. But I can see how some people may not like that.
yeah, I guess. I think it would make more sense if it was like a special sword or something, but it's just like a just some random ass katana. But
It always
yeah, it's interesting.
Hiei's sword keeps changing. I don't know if it's that noticeable. Like Togashi can't seem to decide whether it's like a double-edged longsword or a katana.
Like here or just in general?
Just in general. Though then
Uh,
again, he may just be getting new
yeah,
swords because they keep fucking breaking.
I feel like this is just a random katana. Like he just gets random ones.
I could see that.
Cause like I don't know. I feel like he would have used it before, like during this tournament, but he hasn't. He just randomly acquired a katana.
I'm sure he's got a store of them, or
Maybe.
I can just go to Koenma being like, "This
Yeah.
one broke.
He has a
Give me
bag.
another down.
he carries a bag of holding around with him full of katanas.
That's he hides them in his hair like Kurama stores his plant seeds.
Yeah,
That's why it's so tall and spiky.
that's it. That's gotta be it. He's a
I can
no,
dig
he's
it.
a sword swallower.
Oh yeah, they're all in his stomach.
Yes.
Uh, so yeah, those are Hiei's fights, and he's a little worn out from them. But thankfully, they're his only fights in this round. All the talk of him like getting half of the dice rolls.
Oh, he was still like totally into going on.
He was rare. He was raring to go.
He just happened to not go.
Yeah, that's the luck of the roll. Next up is round 3, Kurama versus Urishima, or Reverse Urishima, as the manga calls him. The manga translates all of these names directly. So Makintaro was Evil Kintaro.
Mm-hmm.
Kuro Momotaro was Poison Peach Boy. Urishima was Reverse Urishima. Shishibakumaru was left alone, and Onji was just Old Bloke.
Yeah. Fucking reverse Urishima.
That reminds me, their name in the manga wasn't always Fractured Fairy Tales. There was an early chapter in the arc had like a bracket with all of the names, and this team had a different name, and I'm glad they changed it to Fractured Fairy Tales because it was so bad. I wish I could find it. I wish I remembered what chapter it was.
I don't know.
I think it was
Dark
right
Tournament
after.
bracket. I'm just gonna look up Dark Tournament bracket.
I think it was right after Yusuke beats Shu. It was like Fairy Tale Bunglers or something.
Why is there no... There's just pictures of tournament brackets. There's no, like, actual manga page of the Dark Tournament bracket. Whatever, I don't care.
I'm just going to keep looking for it. Tell us about Kurama versus Yuri Urishima.
Yuri Urishima is, well, at first I thought he was a little boy, but I guess he's just a grown-ass man who's short.
I think so. Well, he's
maybe.
actually a dog man.
Well, yes. Yeah. But, I don't know, whatever. And he has, like, what?
It's a fishing pole.
It's a fishing pole. Yeah.
He fights with a fishing pole like a whip, like Kurama does with his rose whip.
Yeah, except he sucks.
Yeah, except he sucks.
Yeah. I mean, oh yeah, this is the fight where he releases all of this smoke, or steam or whatever it is.
I found it.
Yeah,
I found the name. Yeah. Team Fractured Fairy Tales, or Team Yuriatogi, are initially called Myth Begotten Manglers.
Myth Begotten Manglers.
Begotten, Begotten.
Begotten. I see.
That's a terrible name. I'm glad they changed it.
I mean, it makes sense, but like, Jesus, it sounds stupid.
It sounds stupid.
And it takes too much to like think about like, what the fuck does that even mean? Yeah. I mean, like yeah. Like I said, it does make sense, but damn.
I'm glad they changed it.
Yeah, so anyways, Reverse Urishima releases this smoke that turns people into babies or whatever. It makes people younger. And
it's a reference. It's another reference to the fairy tale that they're referencing with Urishima. In the actual tale of Urishima, he opens a box and it instantly ages him into an old man. So because he's Reverse Urishima, he has a box that turns other people into babies.
And it doesn't just turn people into babies, it just reverses time as much as it can. Yeah. And so because
potential fetus size.
Kurama had a form before being a baby. He
Yeah,
goes to that form.
yeah. This straight up does not. This does not work how they
Yeah.
want it to.
Yes.
I
So he becomes Fox Kurama. Fox
Yeah,
Demon Kurama.
Yoko Kurama, as they refer to him in the anime.
Yeah.
This is Fox Demon
He's
Kurama, I guess.
cool.
He is pretty fucking. He is pretty fucking rad.
Yeah. More so than fucking Hiei. Fuck.
Honestly, yeah. Yoko Yoko Kurama is straight up cold blooded. Yes, baby.
Yeah. No edginess needed here.
Nah, it's a great design. It's a very cool expansion of his power set, and this is a I really appreciate this isn't just like a form that he's able to take because he just got stronger. This is just like
It's just a
a random
coincidence.
yeah, it's a random perchance encounter that's able
Yeah.
to just like start him on like a little road to regaining this form. I enjoy it.
It's great.
Yeah. And this is also Kurama doesn't even just straight up kill the guy as soon as he can. He's trying to like squeeze him for information. Like what's the secret of this box? Where did you get this item? And this is when Yuri Urashima just kind of starts admitting the whole truth, talking a bit too much for Shishiwakamaru's liking, just admitting like he gave this to me. I'm not even like the reincarnation of Urashima. Like I'm saying is I'm just a guy. I don't even get this whole theme thing. And as soon as he mentions like who really gave them the items, Shishi throws his sword through the barrier Urashima had made and just kills him, revealing him to be a little dog man, as one does.
Not anymore, because he's fucking dead.
Yeah, that's true. So the match goes to Kurama, who's now very, very interested in finding out more about all this.
Yes. He
Yeah.
wants to know.
I think this is around the time Yusuke's ordeal ends, so let's cover how that's been going real quick. I saw Yusuke's been trying to take in Genkai's power, but it's mostly just killing him.
As it should. I mean, like,
Pretty much.
it's a lot of power.
Yeah. I once again I gotta bring up the anime because they just do such a good job of really just kind of portraying how fucking painful this is. Like the animation and lighting making things look all crazy, and the voice acting from both Yusuke screaming his head off and Genkai just being like, "What the fuck have I done?" It just really sells this whole thing. I just think of this one scene where Yusuke is just like banging on the cave wall, screaming like a shonen hero, and then like 3 seconds later, he's just curled up on the ground and he sounds like he's crying, and you just remember like, oh yeah, this is a child. He's 14 or 15.
Something like that.
It just
Yeah.
works. It just works so well, honestly.
Yeah. You don't really get much of that in the manga. I mean, there was like one scene, I think, in between like Hiei's two fights, I think,
Yeah,
and
the
then this.
cross cutting works a lot better in the anime because they do it a lot more. Obviously to fill time, but it just makes it, you know,
Yeah.
more like you get it.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Yeah, anyways,
that
here he he's like fucking on the ground all pained because he's
all dying and
all
shit.
dying. Yes.
For Deanne.
True.
Very true. Yeah.
Turns out Pooh is a good little boy. Pooh's in just as much pain as Yusuke because Pooh's like his familiar or whatever.
Yeah, it's
So
him. It's his
yeah.
reflection.
Yeah, but regardless of that, he's still trying to help out Yusuke.
him some
He's
water.
bringing him water.
This is what I was talking about with Pooh. This is his essentially his main purpose in the arc. It's to give Yusuke a reason to care about himself. Because like think back to even chapter 1. He didn't care if he came back to life or not until he saw how it affected others. Here, it's like a direct line to his own well-being through Pooh. It's he's been given a tangible way of to think about his own well-being, and it ends up working to save his life because that's what gives him the strength to overcome the spirit orb, but keep living to make sure Pooh is safe. It's nice. It's a neat little thing.
Yeah, it's good.
You didn't even think about that, did you?
No,
Boy,
I didn't.
oh boy,
I was just like, funny little penguin
funny
thing.
little, funny little bird penguinoid. He's dying.
He scoop up water with his mouth and bring it. Very funny. His name Pooh.
His name is Pooh. What if we named him Shit? I'm sure you'll have a lot more. Like, I think we've covered only stuff that I'm familiar with so far on the series. Once we get to like Naruto or something, you're gonna be all over it.
Yeah,
I can't.
that will
I
be
can't,
interesting.
I can't wait to shit all over Naruto in front of you.
Well, I mean, you've already like
I do that
gone
a
through
lot.
most of no. Well, yeah, but you've already gone through most of Naruto. It's just I have like the extensive knowledge.
Yeah, you're the Naruto encyclopedia. You have the wiki uploaded directly to your brain,
Yes, I do.
neuro linked
Mm-hmm. It's a part of my body.
in your blood.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho. So Yusuke wins. Yusuke wins the trial. He's powered up. But he's gonna have a little nappy now, and Genkai just kind of leaves him and goes off to take her place in the finals. Before she gets there, though, we move on to Shishiwakamaru versus Kuwabara, one of the greatest fights in all of the greatest fights.
Um, one thing that's weird in the manga, for some reason, like the dice says choice. It says choice like a bunch of times. So what
Yeah,
I've
that's
guessed was choice just meant like that it rolled either, Yusuke or Genkai who weren't there, so it could go to
no, it's.
whoever. But
I mean, it's a six-sided die. They said at the start like
oh,
five of
it's a
these sides.
six-sided die. Right.
Yeah, like
That makes
most
sense.
die.
Hey, wait, go fuck yourself.
I I enjoy how they decide who fights Shishi with rock paper scissors, and he has to get like a tutorial on it because he's never played.
Yes.
Kuwabara tries to finesse him. He's like beginners can only use rock. Kurama's just like he's lying to you. Anyway, it's fun. And then Kuwabara wins, and he is like, "No, you threw your hand like 0.5 seconds before after we did. We're going again." Kuwabara's just like, "Oh, you fucking sore loser." It's fun. These guys are friends. I like that all these characters are friends and they can have these moments.
Yes. You would have never thought it when you met Hiei. That
Yeah, that he'd
fuck.
befriend.
Oh my god. I
Friend shaped.
Hiei is just one special little fellow over there.
He's my special little lad. Pats on head.
Um so
Yeah,
anyways,
Kuwabara wins and he goes charging in for the greatest fight of his career, and he loses.
also turns out the girls weren't there at all.
Oh yeah,
I didn't even notice.
it's yeah, just like the last two rounds, they were missing it, but because this time Botan just forgot they were supposed to go to a new stadium.
Yeah. So they go to the old stadium and they're just like, where is everybody?
That's when Kuwabara lost because he was caught in she had this like mantle thing that he wrapped up Kuwabara in and it
Yeah.
transported him away, and he's just like, this could have taken him anywhere in the world or across multiple dimensions. You'll never see him again. And then he just falls out of the sky at the old stadium.
Yeah. And
Fun.
he lands in the ring, which um my theory is that Kuwabara never actually lost the round because he was still in bounds. He was just in bounds at the other arena, and they never specified that it had to be that arena.
Well, either way, they call it.
Yeah.
She's win. Cool. This is funnier just because of it's set up for the second time around.
Yeah.
When Suzuki does the same thing and he ends up at the same place. Like, why is it this place again?
It's funny the first time too.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Because like they literally specify, he could end up literally anywhere in like the fucking multiverse.
Yeah. He could have ended up in the world where everybody's slug person.
Yes.
He's just like a mile that way.
And then it happens in the same exact way the second time. Almost
Yeah.
like it was destined.
Oh, it's destiny. He's destined to be in the ring, my boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
From there,
Kuwabara loses.
From there, we move on to Genkai arrives, still in the mask, and we move on to Shishiwakamaru versus Genkai. And everybody's suspicious because Genkai passed on the spirit wave to Yusuke, so it's like your spirit energy feels different and a lot less. Who the fuck are you, honestly?
She is weak sauce.
Weak sauce, totally. I bet she can't even beat this guy. I bet.
Definitely.
I love these two. Both of these matches with Genkai.
Yeah.
Because beyond just getting more time with her directly and like seeing more of her personality, like she clarifies like she's not some just fucking justice hero. She just fights who she wants.
Yeah. As expected of Yusuke's mentor.
Yeah. And because of her becoming weaker because of passing on the spirit orb, she spends her fight with Shishi needing to be tactical, and then right after against Suzuki, she proves her physical merits too. And like both of these together give her like a great showing, and at the perfect time too, because it'll be fresh in our minds for her fight against Taguro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Shishiwakamaru's pretty neat too. He's got a cool sword.
Yeah, so we actually get like an interesting moment where they figure out that it's they figure out that it's Genkai.
Oh yeah.
Shishiwakamaru cuts off her head covering thing, and everyone's like, "Who's that? It's not the young woman that we saw earlier."
Who's that girl?
And Toguro has to show up and be like, "It's Genkai." Whoa. And then everyone's like, "Okay."
Yeah, this is our first inkling that there's some history between Toguro and Genkai.
Yeah. It's strange that he would know her when he is young man and she is old lady.
Yeah. How did that happen?
Yes. Very strange.
I wonder if this has anything to do with that meme of the hamster eating the very large banana.
I wonder.
They fucked it, right?
I
think so?
I think it's definitely implied. I mean,
Yeah.
they had something going on.
Definitely.
Yeah, so Genkai, she can only use like 3 ray guns or something like that, or is it 4 ray guns? With the amount of
three spirit energy blasts left in her.
Yeah. So
She doesn't even need them.
She's got a rash in the mouth.
Pretty much. That's fun.
That's yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and yeah, and she's fighting against Shishi, and he pulls on the sword hilt, and a bunch of fucking gross stuff comes out.
It kills people.
Yeah, it summons demon ghosts from hell that eat people.
Yes. Random fucking random demons just being offed. Gee, I sure hope this is the last time that happens in this tournament.
It's got yeah, this sword, the Banshee Shriek or the Banshee Sword, whatever it's called in whatever translation you're doing. It's got a cool design. It's got cool powers, and it matches the user. It's reflecting Shishi's inner ugliness, quote unquote. Ooh.
He is very ugly on the inside only. Um, yeah. So, oh yeah, so earlier Kuwabara, when he got transported into the other arena, all
Mhm.
the girls were still there, so he's like, "Oh yeah, follow me. I'll show you the new arena." And
Yeah,
then he shows up and everybody's fucking rushing out of the arena because people are being murdered.
yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
he's just
They
like, "I'll
also
go check
found
it out."
they also found Yusuke along the way, just kind of hanging out.
Yeah, he's just chilling.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so Kuwabara just goes in and checks it out.
Yeah, around the time Genkai versus Shishi is ending, she does a sword grab and it like siphons off his spirit energy to fuel herself, going back to her younger form for a hot minute,
She's
and
like,
does a big
yes.
old spirit reflection blast, take him out. It's a fun little
Yeah.
trick to end things off, and Shishi ends on a funny line. He's just like, maybe if I was born in a different time, or if you just still looked hot like that, we could have been together. And Gengai's just like, yeah, sure,
What?
whatever.
Yeah. Whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Some mean ass bullies show up and try to pick on Yusuke.
Oh yeah. But his new friends show up. It's Chu
Yeah,
and Riku and Jin and Toya.
they're his friends now.
I I believe it.
Yeah, it's just strange that it just randomly came up just now.
I'm glad they're back. I love these guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice that there are some characters in this tournament with that has, countless random nameless characters, and then there's these
Yeah.
guys who come back. That's
Yeah.
nice.
It's nice. I like them.
So, anyways, Genkai decides to face
Well,
old
well, first,
dude. Yeah.
Kuwabara's
Oh yeah.
called in to fight Onji or Old Bloke or whatever, and we don't even see their fight in the manga. It cuts away to the scene outside with Yusuke and his new friends. Well, Keiko and Yusuke's new friends, because Yusuke's still fucking out cold.
Yeah.
But but when we cut back, Kuwabara's just in this little sphere, and everybody's just like, "Can't believe you fell for that." And then he gets transported to another dimension, just like Shishi's cloak. Except he just goes back to the old arena again.
He's like, "Are you kidding me?"
Son of a bitch! No, he wouldn't say that. Kuwabara's too much of a nice little boy. He would say,
He's a
"Gosh darn
gentleman.
it!"
Kuwabara
Yes,
is a gentleman.
of course. That's why he's with
Milady.
yeah. That's why he's with Yukina.
Yes.
Shout out to Kuwabara's trad wife.
Yep.
But yeah, Onji or Old Bloke or whatever, he's revealed to be the actual creator of all the fun little toys the Team Fractured Fairy Tales have been using. And not
Yes.
only that, Not only that, once Genkai steps in to fight him, she reveals that he's not even an old man. It's a
Yes,
disguise.
he's an ugly-looking clown.
He's a fucking clown. Alpha
Damn,
Hisoka.
I can't believe it.
Suzuki, yes, and his name is Suzuki now. And like I just love Suzuki. I love that he can flip flop between being a real threat and a joke. Yeah, he always steals the scene for me. And despite how short it is, his fight is really fun too.
Hmm.
I love how it ends. Yes, first he keeps going on about how awesome he is and how beautiful he is and how cool he is. And he starts busting out a bunch of different techniques and none of them work. Genkai, even as she is now, is just kind of taking it all and being like, yeah, you can have all of these powers, but that's not going to help if you just kind of suck in general. And she
Yeah,
just, she,
basically he has like all these powers, and he just doesn't have like a battle sense, I guess. Like he doesn't really know how to fight. He doesn't know how to like
yeah,
use them in an effective way in a fight.
yeah, he doesn't have enough like
Hmm.
experience really.
Yeah, he's
And
like, even though he's like so overwhelmingly like stronger, like he has more abilities and more powerful abilities, but like um he just doesn't know how to use them.
yeah, Genkai just pummels him with no spirit energy at all, and just takes
She
him out.
just gives him the hands.
Yeah,
She does the I don't need my Sanpakuto for this.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's awesome. I love it.
it's great.
Yeah, and that ends the semifinals for Team Urameshi,
They win. Yay. Now they get to go on to the finals and get murdered.
and they didn't even need Yusuke
They didn't.
or Kuwabara for that matter.
No, Kuwabara, he did very useful
He, re-
information gathering. He was a guinea
he
pig.
revealed the enemy's tactics, so Genkai could then step in and take them out with no worries.
Even though she
He's
probably could have just done that anyways.
no, so important he was.
Yes.
Honestly, honestly, I think I might have actually preferred it if Kuwabara just wanted to fight the whole round, but the dice kept ignoring him, and he just ends the round like, I didn't get to do anything. Why'd I even show up? That's bullshit.
Damn, I should have went to go hang out with Yusuke.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, well,
yeah.
shit.
I think after this we is when we see Team Taguro's semifinal match against Team the Power Rangers knockoffs. Nice. I I
Uh,
I I'm very glad we got to see Team Tagoro's semifinal match. Is
yeah, we need some
after
kind of like build up to like
yeah
really see what they're about.
yeah after Tagoro versus Genkai, we'll have finished all of the necessary build up for him versus Yusuke. But this gives us an idea going in for how the others will go. We see
Hmm.
Karasu's Killer Queen power, see Bui's big ass axe, and most importantly, I think we see Elder Togoro's body horror powers and how those go when he's fighting alone, along with his personality because he hasn't actually really said anything so far. He's been essentially just like an accessory to his brother for so long. We're finally getting to know more about him, and we see it as opposed to Togoro's, more noble, martial artist personality. He's more just pure evil.
Yeah, he's just ruthless.
I love it.
It's it's strange that we hadn't like really gotten much from him up until this point, considering like he is like the elder brother, right? So you would think
I
he
don't
would be at least like somewhat more important.
I don't think it's all that strange, but I do think I think it was on purpose. I think it was meant to kind of give readers the idea that oh, he has nothing special, and then this comes out and we see what
I
he's
think
really
the
got going
opposite of
on.
actually. I feel like it was meant to like make like the readers more wary of him as like like the trope of like the big guy and the little guy where the little guy is actually like way stronger than the big guy, and so
Right.
like not giving much away of him, so like when that reveal comes that it's even bigger, and so like to an average like an avid shonen reader, you would expect him to like actually be um hot stuff when he's not.
Maybe. I don't know. I think it depends on the kind of reader you are, how savvy you are.
Yeah.
'Cause, like to a younger, casual reader, you probably wouldn't expect anything from him because he's small.
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 Yes.
And
But
yeah,
then
so
again,
that's how the
also going into it, like as I already knew that Toguro, like younger Toguro, was like the big deal just from like cultural stuff.
right.
But yeah, still interesting.
After that, we also get a scene between Kurama and Karasu. We'll build up for them. We get that those two are gonna fight in the finals. Karasu's a
Yeah,
bit getting a bit handsy there.
as he
That
should.
that's a minor. He's only 1,000 years old.
Yeah. What are you doing, dude? Come
He's
on.
feel he's feeling his hair, funny little hair.
It's all right. Kurama
I
consented.
yeah. That's not how that works.
I know. Anyways,
Yeah,
uh,
I just like
Toguro.
that. I
Yeah.
just like that scene because Kurama versus Karasu is one of my favorite fights in the series. So I like the extra build up.
Yeah.
And
It
yeah,
it also
Genkai.
kind of like tells us you know, Kurama and Hiei just they have to get stronger in order to face these guys
Yeah.
because everything up until this point has been nothing compared to like this final
Oh yeah.
round.
This is a big step up.
Hmm. They realize like the depth of like the gaps in between them, right? So
Yeah.
they need to make up for that,
The
which is cool.
uh, yeah. Yeah. Everybody's getting to the climax of their own personal arcs around this time.
Yep. Um,
Uh,
so
they finish.
Genkai is like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Peace out.
And and she's meeting with Taguro.
What a strange combination of characters.
Yeah. Were you
The banana
expecting
meme.
them? Were you expecting them to have a history still on?
No, not at all. I,
Yeah. It's a
I
fun little
yeah,
twist.
it is interesting. Um, yeah, so like, I don't know. I don't really have any input.
I I think this is probably one of the most important scenes for Taguro because we're finally getting this straight up from Genkai. We're finally learning what drives him beyond just being strong. We see through like a little flashback that he's afraid. He's afraid of losing all that he's dedicated his life to and not being strong enough when he needs it the most
Most.
because to him time is gonna break him down eventually. We're getting a very clear parallel between him and Genkai, who has aged and become weaker, but has passed on her strength through Yusuke, both in the normal way of like passing on her ideals and her ways of doing things, and physically in the spirit orb.
Yeah.
Kaguro is not some megalomaniac. He's afraid, and Genkai is a reminder of that fear, and a reminder of the other choice he might have taken all those years ago. So it's like because she's a reminder of that, he's got to kill her in his mind.
Eliminate.
Yeah, I this is a great fight. I think. Genkai pulls out all the stuff. She busts out the 3 spirit guns she had left, but it's just nothing.
Yeah. Toguro is just a a monster, really.
Really, yeah. He's just he is overwhelming brute force against like the more technical stuff that Genkai and others are able to use. And that's kind of like a big thing around this time. I think Suzuki puts it best. He wants to see Guro be taken down to prove that like smarts and ingenuity can overcome brute force. And
Yeah.
with Genkai, she wasn't able to do it, but by merging her powers with Yusuke, she was in the end.
That's the thing about Toguro though, is that you can't just overcome him with like smarts and, like
Right.
fight like a technical fight. You still need the strength to back it up.
Yeah, you do need
You
power.
need, yeah, and so by working together and kind of like uniting their powers, Yusuke is able to do it.
Yeah.
He's only
Not
able to
here
do
though.
it, well, yeah, like with the help of Genkai.
Yeah. Genkai gets a nice little death scene. Yusuke holds her and she's able to pass on her wisdom one last time and basically tell Yusuke like Toguro like he buffs himself up, but he's a coward. He ran from the fight we all must face against time. Don't you ever do that, Yusuke.
Uh, Flash forward like 50 years, Yusuke is like a demon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's just he's just
I
like
don't
a
know what you.
demon like fucking around.
Yeah, I don't know what Genkai was talking about. This rocks.
He's like in Vegas, like playing the slot machines as a demon.
Yeah,
Uh,
man, this is epic.
um, yeah.
Yeah,
So
girl has done the unforgivable.
killed people. We also get a flashback where we see the 3 fucking uh people who were under
Oh
Toguro.
yeah, the triad. They
The
were
triad. Yeah.
in the manga. They were the ones that invited Genkai.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, that's a neat little thing. I guess they did survive.
Um, maybe. Yeah. I don't
Well,
know if like that was the
well,
case or if it was just like before like
it would have to have been after the
yeah, I guess because that's when
Harukane Magic
Toguro
Zone.
like decided for like real Toguro and Sakyo decided for real that they were going to invite
Right.
um Yusuke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, and I guess that they're also covered in fucking bandages, so that makes sense
Hmm.
because they just got their asses whooped by Yusuke.
Yeah. And so, and so Genkai has died, and we move into honestly, one of my favorite sections of the arc, which is just this short little stretch of the characters kind of dealing with that knowledge and trying to, you know, find some way to bridge the power gap in the last moments. I like how Hiei's first reaction is to see if he can make as big a crater as Toguro, and when he can't, he sets up to master the Dragon of the Darkness Flame before the finals. That's a very Hiei thing to do.
Yeah.
Just measure himself essentially.
The
Uh,
Dragon of the Darkness Flame.
the super demon dimensional darkness sword of dragon, flame of dragons,
Yes.
Chidori.
Blackness of day and night and stuff.
Day and night.
Um, yeah.
Kurama Kurama is now desperate to find a way to stack up to Karasu, and that leads into Suzuki's true role in this arc, which is supplying Kurama with the way to turn back into Yoko, and giving Kuwabara the hilt of the trial sword, which will buff him up against Elder Toguro.
Yeah.
I love how I love that Kurama and Kuwabara are just they're not hesitating in taking the extra equipment. They know that they need it to survive,
Hmm.
and that's fine.
Also, it's
It's
neat that like them kind of befriending Suzuki is like paying off.
yeah,
So not
yeah,
just like eliminating their enemies and just
yeah,
being
and then
brutal
yeah, and just
pays off.
never seen again.
Hmm. It's great.
Yeah. And lastly, there's Yusuke grieving, and the anime really bumps up this whole section. I think beyond just
Uh-huh.
animation and um, voice acting, they add a couple extra bits to it.
Like Yusuke taking a dump.
Well, yeah,
Well,
no,
that's
but
a
like I just think of this one specific scene where he's hanging out outside the cave and he sees Genkai in there for a second and he's just like I knew you were still alive and then she fades away and he's just so like he was in denial and then he just has to go back and accept it again and he says grandma it's so just he's
it's
my boy I
nice.
want to give my boy the hug.
Yeah, it's very nice. In
Yeah.
the manga, there are also uh d just during like this whole like final round, there was just puzzles in the manga, and I kept
Oh
trying to
yeah.
do them, and I couldn't do the first one was like impossible, and then like the third one I just brain farted. It was great.
I can't believe you actually tried to do those. Are you gonna try
It
the
was
One
cool.
Piece treasure giveaway next?
Maybe.
It's been 20 years. I can still get the prize though.
I could do it.
I swear. Oh yeah, and this is also around the time where we're finally clued into what Sakio wants in all this.
Oh yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting prospect.
Turns out Sakio just wants to create a fucking
A giant
uh
portal to demon world.
yeah, so demons can come and kill everyone or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it's it's representative of this nihilism that Togashi tries to go along with antagonists like him and more so Sensui later. It's neat. Sakio just what he doesn't care that everybody, including him, is gonna die. He just wants to see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Hell on Earth is a fun prospect for him.
So they try to the tournament officials try to kill him because
But
that's a
yeah,
thing.
but
They
Tiguro's there, so they fail.
they yeah, they're just like, yeah, this guy who is like the reigning champion of a martial arts tournament that gathers the most strongest people in the world.
They can obviously take him.
Yeah, these random mercenaries I hired can take him out. Yep, totally. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah. So they all meet back up and they're like, yeah, we're
Well,
ready.
well,
Yeah.
first, well, first Yusuke has a little talk with Koenma, and Koenma's kind of able
Oh yeah.
to help him through the rest of his grief. Yusuke does a little spirit gun shot to the sky as a message to Genkai, and everybody comments on how fucking huge it is.
Yeah, they're like, damn, that was a big ass spirit gun. Wonder where it came from. Definitely not Yusuke.
I like how Yusuke still has only 4 shots with it even after this. I
They're big
appreciate that we still got that cap.
they're big shots though.
They are.
You would think he could like control the size though and like be able to get like, a couple smaller shots and some big shots. I don't
Hmm,
know. Maybe. Either
maybe.
way, he doesn't. Um
Yeah.
so
It's time for the finals.
That is true.
Man, Kuwabara's outfit for the finals is amazing. 10 out of 10, honestly.
He just.
He looks so cool.
What even fucking is that?
It's a cool jacket and cool pants, cool boots.
He's just like, I'm Kuwabara.
I'm
I don't
Kuwabara.
care. True.
Yeah, it's in the what do you call it, the middle school yearbook, Kuwabara and the cooler bara.
The cooler bara.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
Um,
So it's finals time.
yeah. They both approach the stage, and there's only 4 people on each team.
Yeah, they
But
need another person.
according to the rules, they need 5 people for the finals.
Yeah. Even though they're obviously not going to fight, it's cool seeing Sakyo and then Koenma both kind of putting their money where their mouths are.
Yeah, I found that really weird that Koenma was the one to show up. Like, what if he actually did have to fight? Would like he actually be able to fight? Like, is
No,
he even
that's
allowed to
why
fight? Like,
that's why he had that little jetpack. He said, if it comes down to me, I have a plan. And then he just shows off. He's got like a little jetpack, and it's just like the plan is escape.
yes. Can he like just like teleport to the other dimension or whatever?
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's what he's got the
Anyways,
jetpack for.
yeah,
Why would you teleport when you have a fucking jetpack?
true. I wouldn't want to teleport when I have a jetpack.
Yeah. So yeah, finals. We're starting up the finals, baby.
I love how like in the team lineups, it just has Koenma and Sakyo there, just like looking like they're actually gonna fight.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, no. Um,
Nah.
yeah. So
We
first
start
off is Kurama.
versus Karasu.
Yeah, the guy with the thing on his face.
Little Bane mask.
Yes.
I consider this one of the best fights in the series.
Yeah. It's
I
pretty
think
cool.
I think part of that is the build up for me. We've seen Karasu in action a couple times but like he's still
We still
pretty
don't know
much a
what he's
mystery.
up to. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got some major creepiness towards Kurama, and I Kurama himself, usually very confident, is like very clear in saying that he's not going to be able to win unless he can pull off Yoko.
Yeah.
Um, we start off the fight with some very clear parameters here, and that's buy time and don't let Karasu touch him. And yeah, once again, Kurama's battles are often the most cerebral of them all. And unlike most of Kurama's fights, he's on the back foot, so we're kind of right there with him planning the whole, with starting with the whole petals thing. We're right there in his mind.
Yeah.
And
Petals.
Karasu, I think Karasu is part of that too. Why I like this fight so much. Not only does he have his own unique look, complete with a Chekhov's gun in the form of his mask, his powers also have a fun look to them too. Once he actually like agrees to show them to Kurama just for fun.
Yep. It's just he has bomb.
Yeah, it's bomb, but they look like little flush thingies. It's neat. They fight for a little bit, and eventually, it looks like Kurama dies, but he disappeared because he became his true demon fox form.
Yoko Kurama.
Yes. And they fight a little bit more like that, and it looks like Yoko Kurama is gonna kill Karasu straight up. But
Yeah, because
Karasu's
he brings out the frickin' that crazy demon plant.
yes, I love it.
Yas.
Yes. Yeah, boy.
Yeah, so he like basically kills Karasu, and then Karasu's like, nope.
Yeah, his mask came off, so that means his hair turns golden and his power go up.
Oh
In the
my
in the
god.
Japan in the Japanese version, I think Koto makes a direct Super Saiyan reference along the lines of his hair has turned golden, which is an obvious indicator his powers shot up.
Yeah.
Obviously, haven't you seen Dragon Ball, people?
Come on, guys.
This is basic shit. You'd expect both super forms to last till the end, but Kurama actually changes back around this time early back to his human
Yeah.
form. So it's like a cool little subversion.
Yeah, it's cool.
And with all the talk about how he'd die if he had to fight in his human form, it's pretty harrowing to see him back in it while Karasu's just now getting all revved up.
Yeah. Karasu gets like a power up, and then Kurama just gets a debuff.
Yeah, it, it really does, like, they really do play it out like Kurama's about to die. There's like in the anime, there's like, they cut to all the people saying something, and when they cut to Koenma, and he's just like, guys, I don't think he's gonna make it. Like, you can really tell, like, they really believe Kurama's about to straight up die,
Hmm.
and he very clearly almost does. It gets to the Karasu's just kind of playing with him at that point, and it gets to the point where Kurama's gonna pull that whole life energy usage, just like Yusuke and Kuwabara had.
Yeah.
But compared to Yusuke's straightforward usage and Kuwabara's fake out, I consider the end of this fight. I consider it an actually good and correct use of the using my life energy trope. Kurama's uh, Kurama's transformation running out early forces him into this corner, but it also ends up saving him here because he actually has more life energy than he realizes, because his body's actually regaining the Yoko Kurama strength, and it's a cool come from behind victory,
Yeah. It's great.
or not. He gets fucking cheated
Yeah,
out of the
that
victory.
was crazy because he like totally fucking beat this guy's ass, but then
Killed him.
on a technicality he
Yeah.
lost.
At least it's not Kuwabara this time, getting the technical loss.
Yeah. Freaking.
Yeah. Yeah, so from there we move on to the second round of the finals. Hiei versus Bui. Probably my least favorite of the final matches.
Hmm.
No no real build up for the two competitors, no real personality for Bui, not a huge challenge for Hiei. Its best attribute is once again that it finishes the arc of Hiei controlling the Black Dragon. Now it's coming to fruition here.
I
Not
don't
a
know what you're talking about. The Dark Dragon of Blackness of Death is so fucking cool.
It is pretty cool, honestly.
It's kind of cool, yeah.
It's not a bad fight. Bui's design is cool. His powers are effective if a little bland. It's entertaining overall. It's just, compared to the other fights, it's a bit
It
lackluster.
doesn't have the right kind of build up. Like
Yeah,
the actual matchup itself wasn't really built up. It's more so like Hiei just
coming into
like
his own.
coming into his own, like yeah, just finishing up like his powers that he's been
Yeah,
working on.
essentially, yeah. What makes him most memorable is the anime version, because the second episode covering it, the animation goes all crazy and wacky along the lines of something like Naruto versus Pain or Asta versus Lodgers.
Oh, nice.
It's fun. Uh,
Very fun.
yeah. Up next comes Kuwabara versus the Elder Toguro. I think the anime helps this fight by giving us some time before, like it's some downtime beforehand while they replace the ring. It helps kind of build up the rivalry by letting Elder Toguro do some more taunting and showing us Kuwabara's anxiety over this. Where here we just kind of cut right to it.
Yeah.
Still a cool fight though, even in the manga. Elder
Yeah,
Toguro's body horror powers are crazy awesome.
it's crazy that I think it was implied that Elder Tokuro was like, way stronger than Karasu and Bui. So it's actually kind of great that Kuwabara was the one to face off against him and then, come out on top.
Oh, totally.
Because like I always get the feeling that Kuwabara is just the weakest person, just because he's like he has the least like training and the least,
Yeah,
I guess, natural talent. But he
yeah,
just like I don't know, he's just brilliant somehow.
totally, totally. And it's a character archetype that Togashi does again with Leorio, having
Hmm.
like one of the four be the weakest, but also like the loudest and like the most comedic.
And then he
Kuwabara
can
is really
pull it
in,
out like he could
yeah,
pull out a
yeah.
win when he has to.
Kuwabara is in top form here,
Hmm.
busting out that trial sword.
Just doing his Kuwabara stuff.
Yeah, and he gets fucked up. Elder Toguro fucks him up.
Yep. I don't really have much to say about the fight other than that, honestly.
Me neither. I feel like I wanted to mention Kuwabara. Kuwabara pulls out a lot of like pulls off a lot of new stuff in this arc, like using his sword to grab the hilt from afar, and like turning his spirit sword into like a giant fucking fly swatter of sorts.
Hmm.
And that like from the outside, it might seem kind of like a Deus Ex Machina, but I give it a pass because
I
the
feel like
try
it fits.
yeah, the trial sword is definitely having an effect here, and like his evolving powers is going to be paid off more so next arc. So I like it. I dig it.
I'm interested to see what the next arc would be like in that case.
There's a lot of build up for the next arc going into this whole finals, which I won't spoil for you, but like there's a lot going on to just kind of set things up.
Hmm. Very neat.
Yeah. So that's the third round. And between then and now, we have a little break. Sakio proposes making this the final round by betting his life on the outcome of Yusuke versus Toguro, and Koenma does the same. And there's a little time in between for the committee to decide, quote unquote. But since Sakio is the only like funder of this whole thing
Yeah, he
left,
killed
they're
everyone.
obviously gonna go with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he killed everyone,
I
and we
it
get
was
a
it's really just for show, just like
yeah,
give it like 10 minutes to be like, yeah, the committee
yeah.
they talked about it. They were like, okay, it's cool.
Just have a smoke break.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we get Sakio's backstory. I,
What?
yeah, he tells Toguro.
I don't I don't remember that.
He, he's talking about like I grew up in a normal family. It was fine. I'm
Oh
just
yeah.
crazy.
I
You can
That's so unmemorable.
yeah. Well, yeah. You can. It's more just to like we're not really exploring Sakio as a character. We're more just exploring an idea that Togashi likes, which is his love of his nihilistic and bonkers characters. We're being told plain and simple that this isn't like a childhood trauma thing. This isn't like a moral degradation thing. He's just a psychopath, and he has been all his life.
Yeah, it's great.
It is. I love it honestly. Just how just straight up it is. Sakio's not making any excuses or anything. He's just like, no, I'm just crazy.
That's a good way to put it. Also, it turns out Elder Toguro is
Oh yeah.
alive
Oh yeah. As soon as Yusuke and Toguro step in, Elder Toguro steps in, and he wants to fight alongside his brother.
by being a human weapon or whatever, which I don't
Yeah.
even know if that's allowed, but anyways.
I don't think. I don't think so. I remember in the anime he specifically says that he waited to do this until bets have closed so that they could rake in the cash. And yeah, it's the dark tournament. The rules are
Yeah,
very
whatever.
loose. But at this point, the Toguro brothers have been having some friction. Elder
Some
Toguro,
ideological complications.
yeah, Elder. I think what the straw that broke the camel's back was Elder Toguro talking about Genkai and like implying that he wanted to force himself on her, but he couldn't because he was too like shrimpy and weak to do so. I think I think that was the point where younger Toguro is just like, yeah, this guy kind of sucks.
Let's not hang out with this guy anymore.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
the last little bit of interaction between them like says it plain. They both sold their souls, but younger Toguro never sold his standards.
Yeah. And so he sends Elder Toguro rocketing off into space.
Essentially, yeah,
Team Rocket will be back again.
yeah,
Maybe, I don't know.
yeah. I mean, he got sent to space. He got
Yeah.
caught as obviously.
I don't know if he actually got sent into space. He just got
He just got knocked away.
yeah.
He got turned into a little.
Well, actually no, we saw where he landed like in the ocean like
Oh yeah,
a mile or two away.
we had a little panel showing that he gets smacked
Yeah.
into the ocean.
He's not coming back to this ring
This
anytime
tournament.
soon.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
How about Mr. Jellyman? So
Yeah.
yeah, Yusuke versus Toguro starts up. The big climactic showdown.
You know, it's great. And it just
Yeah.
immediately kicks off into Toguro going into 80%. I thought he
Oh
was
yeah.
gonna like go like progressively build up, but no, he just goes right up to 80%, which so far is the highest level that we've seen him.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I like that. He just straight up just goes for that level right away.
They're not playing
No.
around.
Oh no. No, no, no.
And just Toguro going into 80%, he like fucking random demons just start dying because of like
Yeah,
his Reiki is so powerful.
his spirit powers are so strong that they just dissolve people left and right. The only reason
Yeah.
that the cheerleader squad survives is because Pooh is making a barrier.
Pooh!
Pooh, he's useful.
He's doing something because Yusuke can't protect them on like with his he can't protect him like them like in
On his
the
own.
natural like the regular way.
Right.
So he has to do it like through Pooh, who is like, you know,
Yeah,
part of him.
Pooh is responding to what Yusuke would be wanting in that scenario.
Yeah.
Good familiar. Good familiar.
Good job, Pooh. You're good. You're a good boy.
You're a good little man.
So they fight.
They fight for a little bit, and eventually Toguro straight up wrecks the ring.
Of course he does.
I like that. It really frees up this fight from having to like avoid ring outs at any cost. We can just ignore that rule from now on. Just let this fight go through its natural climactic self.
I really like the moment like when Toguro wrecks the ring and then Yusuke is like, you know, just like hanging in the air next to him upside down, like at the exact moment to shoot him with a ray gun.
Oh yeah,
That shit was awesome.
I love that.
And then he fucking blasts Toguro, and Toguro's like, he's like completely out of the arena.
Oh,
But
yeah.
like the ring is gone now, so it's just like, okay, there's no fucking out of bounds anymore because there's
Pretty
just
much,
no way
yeah.
to be in bounds. So it's just like whatever. What are we gonna do?
PA says it straight out. It's kill or be killed.
Yes.
And yeah, Toguro got blown straight out of the arena, but he just comes back.
Damn.
Isn't that?
He just fucking marches
Not
back
amused.
in like the fucking Terminator.
Not amused.
Yeah.
I think they fight for a little bit more before the whole spirit cuffs thing comes out.
Yeah, but I don't think anything really
Yeah.
interesting. Well, Toguro does lose his fucking glasses.
Oh yeah, shades are
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, we get to see him without shades, and he looks so fucking weird.
He does have this very uncanny look to him, which fits for a
Yeah,
demon that used to be human.
yeah. So anyways,
Yeah, they fight for a little bit more, and eventually Yusuke reveals the spirit cuffs that Genkai had apparently put on him before the spirit orb
yeah.
thingy started. And it's
It's the
eh,
thing. It's
it
it's the
comes
one.
it comes out of nowhere. It's still early in the fight, so I don't really mind it too much. The whole point is for Yusuke to initially match up to 80% to Guro, then be overwhelmed by it, and then surpass it so that we could bump things up to
It's
100%.
just like the natural like consequence of like having Taguro's power like be so like
In
clearly like
percentages,
up in percentages like he could just get stronger whenever he wants. So like you have to have Yusuke have something like that too in order
essentially,
to
yeah.
match him and like have it be like an interesting fight.
Right. And so,
Which
yeah,
I don't mind. It's
I
perfectly
don't
fine.
mind it.
I love the weighted clothes trope.
Oh, yeah. I think I would mind if this came later in the fight, but we're still pretty early in it. So,
Yeah.
And yes, as I said, Toguro pumps things up to 100%. It's Epic Shoulders time.
Yeah, he just becomes even more fucking inhuman.
Yeah, I love Taguro's transformations, and I love the reactions, the way that other characters can't even believe he was once human.
It's great, yeah. Um
At this point, Taguro's shoulders serve a purpose. They're like sucking in demons' souls.
yeah. Well, he does that I don't think that's like just a thing that happens. I think he does that purposefully, right?
Yeah,
He does it
yeah,
purposely so that everybody like will die so Yusuke will like want to fight him and beat him
yeah,
before everyone dies.
he's putting them on a timetable essentially.
Yeah.
And even though winning over the crowd was never something the characters really wanted, it's nice that here at the end everybody starts cheering on Yusuke
Yeah, because they're all gonna
they don't
fucking
want to
die
die.
otherwise.
Yeah, exactly.
Toguro is just a fucking monster.
Yeah, and a monster he is. Yusuke at this point is just like not able to match up anymore.
Yeah, you just can't do it. Oh no.
Oh no,
What do?
what do? I'll tell you what do, or Genkai will. Genkai's spirit returns through poo.
As does everyone's spirit.
Yeah, damn Genkai, I knew your soul was a piece of shit.
Um, yeah.
Yeah,
So she just shows up and she's just like, dude, you just gotta kill someone.
yeah. Yusuke's powers are tied to his emotions, so kill a friend.
Yeah.
And Yusuke's just like, Genkai, what the fuck?
Why'd you gotta tell him that? I mean,
Yeah,
Toguro was gonna kill someone anyways, cause like he
yeah.
already like set
He
up the
said, like, I was
timetable of
considering
like
it.
well, he was considering he wasn't just considering it. He had already done the thing
I
where
mean,
everybody's gonna fucking die if Yusuke doesn't beat him in time.
I mean, like
Like
like,
directly killing.
yeah,
Yeah.
directly kill a friend. But like, yeah, yeah. This whole sequence of bringing out Yusuke's latent strength by pretending to kill Kuwabara, it's a real
Pretending.
knife twist. Oh yeah, sorry, not pretending. He kills Kuwabara straight up.
Yeah.
But like, it's just a real like knife twist. We thought Yusuke's arc was complete, but he still wasn't at the necessary level without this. And of course, Kuwabara ends up living, but considering Yusuke had done all he could, and this does get him over the end, I give the fake out a pass. It's used
Yeah.
well.
I like I'm gonna be honest, through this whole tournament, well, I knew Genkai was gonna die, obviously. Um I was like convinced that like even like way before this, I was just convinced that Kuwabara was also going to die. I don't know why. I just I thought Kuwabara was going to die, and so when it happened here, I was like, "Holy shit, he actually died."
Yeah,
And I was
and
like so ready for like the next arc to be them like trying to bring Kuwabara back to life, like back like with Yusuke.
right.
And then I wanted it to happen so bad.
It
It
would
would
have
have
been
been so funny.
entertaining.
Yeah, that would have been great. But no,
I also,
Kuwabara's alive.
I also gotta say, this whole sequence of Kuwabara's near death, the expressions are like just on point. Togashi's art throughout all this has really just like progressed so much.
Yeah, definitely.
Everything looks so good. And
It looks way different than from the start of the series.
oh yeah, absolutely.
At this point, we're already like 100 and something chapters in, so that's like 2 years of
Mm,
weekly chapters.
yeah. Yeah. And so yeah, because of that, Yusuke's latent power is able to finally come out. And this is where the the whole arc has had this kind of background tug of war on whether Yusuke would follow Genkai's teachings or ignore them and end up like Toguro. And now he's facing now he's facing a loss that's broken his heart but brought out his latent power, which is pretty much what we'll see in a little bit is what happened to Toguro. He faced a terrible loss. He was able to use it to bring out his latent power, and now he's reaching the crucial decision point. Like, is he going to end up like Toguro did and sell his soul, essentially sell his humanity, or is he just going to deal with it like Genkai would? And Yusuke pointedly states he can't sell out his comrades or his humanity like Toguro did, and that's the point where the fight enters its final phase, and Yusuke is able to just kind of dominate.
Mm-hmm.
It's very solid. That punch is also very solid. Yusuke smacking them across the face. That's so fucking satisfying. As is the spirit gun immediately after. We don't even see him fire it. We just cut from Toguro just slapping across the ground, being knocked away. His neck is broken, and as he's just kind of sitting up, we see a giant spirit gun blast engulf him.
Yeah, he just gets fucking wrecked.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, from there we go into the final beam struggle. Yusuke pumps in everything into one last spirit gun while Toguro pumps himself up even more.
This whole like final section of the fight where, Yusuke powers up from um rage from Kuwabara being killed. It's
Yeah,
just
rage boost.
it's such like a it's just a great moment. Like I haven't even watched it in the anime, but I could already just like there's got to be like some awesome OST going in the background and
Oh
like
yeah.
just kick-ass anime fights. It's like it's like a Haruka Mirai moment from Black Clover and stuff.
I'd say
And
so,
and
yeah.
like yeah, like Dragon Ball, and it just reminds me so much of like a lot of different moments that we've covered on this podcast so far and just in general in shonen.
This
It's great.
crazy climactic moment where everything is decided totally.
Yeah, it's great.
And yeah, it's the final clash against powers, but eventually Toguro is brought down. Yusuke's final blast did the trick.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and the Dark Tournament is won, and as fitting for how the Dark Tournament has been going, this does not end in triumph. This ends in just kind of relief that it's over and depression at what we've lost. Yusuke, he doesn't like raise a fist in victory or call it like, yeah, I won. He just kind of breaks down, thinking that like I failed because Kuwabara had to die for me to bring out my power.
Yeah, And then,
Oh,
yeah,
only he
you know.
didn't. We
Yeah.
get that we get that amazing page of Yusuke on his breaking down, but then to the right of him in the background is Kuwabara up and just like posing like a little goof. Like, hey, how you doing?
And you could just like see like he like hears Kuwabara and he just gets like this look on his face. Then he looks up and he's so fucking pissed.
Oh yeah.
It's great.
I love his reaction. He's very distraught, just confused, and then when Kurama explains everything to him, he doesn't even wait for the explanation to finish. He just goes over and starts pounding on Kuwabara. Like, I thought you died, you fucker.
It's great.
Yeah.
Just beats him
So
up.
yeah. And so the dark tournament has ended, but we get a last little bit from Sakyo. He's holding up his end of the bargain and killing himself, but he's doing it by destroying the arena, like making it self-destruct.
Because of course.
Yeah,
Of course you are.
yeah. His his death itself is like it's as understated in the manga as he is himself, because as I've alluded to before, he's more so just a platform for other villains like Toguro and Sensui,
Yeah.
the background player. And yeah, they go and they grab the cheerleader squad and they puff it out of the stadium. Keiko at this point had just gone kind of like catatonic, essentially, just watching Yusuke almost die. So Yusuke has to just slap her around a bit to get her to wake up.
Yeah, that was weird. Also, Yukino's about to get crushed by falling debris and then Hiei saves her.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, we didn't
the,
even talk about it at all, but there was just Yukina showed up at some point, and then there was
no, we
just
talked
this.
about that.
Did we even?
Yeah,
Oh, well,
I don't, I
anyways,
don't, I don't blame you for forgetting though, because she's not that important to the arc.
yeah, it's just kind of like an extra added on thing.
Just an extra cheerleader, essentially.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean like Yukino was some I think
She
Kuwabara
she was
told
in.
her at some point that like you shouldn't get involved with Hiei because he's a douchebag or whatever.
And to be fair, he is.
Yes. And then he saves her, so I'm
Yeah,
interested to see what happens next, I guess.
yeah, Uh, yeah. And so
There's not
yeah,
much
from
not much
there,
there.
uh, it's been a while. I can't really recall. There's something. Uh,
Um you mean the thing about
yeah.
Genkai?
Oh yeah. We move into huh?
I just said the thing about Genkai?
Now the thing about Yukina, there's something there
Oh yeah, yeah.
in the future. But yeah. Speaking of Genkai, we're moving into the last chapter of the arc. We're in the um we're in the afterlife. Koenma, back in his toddler form, is passing judgment on Toguro, and he's saying like, "I can give you a lighter sentence. You did a lot of bad things, but you did some good things too, and as a human." And he's just like, "Nah, ninth circle of hell, please." And
Well,
we're finally made privy of what caused Toguro to fall off the deep end, and you know, for how odd it may seem placed at the end after all said and done, it makes sense to put it here. We couldn't
I
have had our big win if we had like any sympathy for him around. He had to play the villain until the very end.
yeah. Also, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm guessing this is like set up for like later stuff. So it kind of makes sense to put it like after all of that so it's kind of more fresh in our minds.
Not really.
Okay. Well,
This was more just to give us a clearer picture on why Taguro has done what he did.
okay. Either way, it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Him and
We also
Genkai
have a
be
little.
fucking.
Yeah, they have a little last little meet with each other as Taguro's going off to hell, and he kind of tells her straight out, like, don't let Yusuke end up like me. He needs you.
Yeah.
So the gang back in the living world are getting ready to head out. Yusuke, he's pretty much accepted Genkai's gone, but there's still that hole that'll never heal. Except she does. She comes back. Oh, good. She's
Yeah.
alive.
Okay.
Uh, they get a wish for winning, but the committee's all dead, so they can't really cash that in. But Koenma's able to make that wish come true of bringing back Genkai.
That was strange.
It if she had not done anything in the series after this point, then I would have more of a problem. But she does play a fairly major role in the next arc, so it's fine by me.
Okay. Okay, I guess. I
Yeah,
figured she wouldn't, like, just because, like,
yeah.
I don't know,
It's
she's
the
already passed everything on to Yusuke, so like what
yeah,
I can't like see like what use could she have aside from
yeah.
just being
It's
like a background character.
you'll see more. It just kind of gives Dragon Ball vibes where like we had all of those meaningful death scenes, but now you know the character's
Yeah,
back to life. So
yeah.
yeah,
Well, whatever.
whatever, whatever. That's the Dark Tournament. Oh, and we leave off with the narration telling us that someone is someone is being left behind that was gonna carry on Sakyo's plans. But that's a story for another time. For now, we finish off the Dark Tournament.
Damn,
Dang.
that was interesting.
It was a good time.
Sure was a tournament arc.
It's one of the one of the best, I think, just because it's one of the if you want so many shonen tournament arcs have just kind of taken from this. It was one of
Yeah,
the first.
definitely.
This was like 1992.
Yeah, I mean, ha I don't think so, really. Maybe it does it?
I think so. A lot of I, just like in a general sense, I think this along with Dragon Ball kind of codified a lot of tournament arc tropes.
I don't know. I was just kind of like thinking like I feel like it's mostly just Dragon Ball because like all the big Dragon Ball tournament arcs, they all happened like in early Dragon Ball way before this came out.
Yeah,
And
I
so
guess.
like I feel like that's where like all the tropes that like almost all the tropes that show up here in this arc are from those early Dragon Ball tournament arcs.
Yeah, there's definitely Dragon Ball influence, but like
Yeah.
Yu Yu Hakusho is just so much influence on its own itself too.
And like I don't know, I haven't actually even seen a lot of tournament arcs in like, more recent shonen. Like aside from like um obviously the Chunin exams, which takes heavy inspiration from the Hunter exams from Hunter x Hunter. And then I've also seen like the Hunter exams and the Heaven's Arena and Hunter x Hunter, and that's really it in terms of like tournament arcs that I've seen like
Uh,
in shonen that
I
isn't Dragon Ball.
I just think this is just like such a classic. Dark
It
Tournament
is a
itself is a
classic though.
classic.
I really
Yeah,
liked it.
probably probably the best arc of Yu Yu Hakusho, but I don't know. I feel like a trend in Yu Yu Hakusho is that like the further it gets from like a normal setup and story structure, the less good it is. But I don't really want to say that because I feel like that's saying against like trying something new and trying to
Yeah.
think outside the box.
Um, I mean, I don't really. I don't mind like trying new things because then like then we get Hunter x Hunter later on, which is even better, right?
Yeah, I'd say
That
so.
it just contributes to like you know Togashi growing and like the
Yeah,
genre itself growing. It's
yeah.
great.
I think you'll enjoy I don't know. It's been a long time since I've watched the Three Kings arc, and it's kind of different between the anime and the manga, so I don't know how you'll react to that one, but I think you'll very much enjoy the Chapter Black arc.
All right. Well, that is what we'll be reading next.
Yeah, chapters like we said at the start of this episode, the chapters are kind of messy, but like
Yeah.
between sources, so
It's
it's
like either
chapters
chapters 112, no, 113
one,
or 114, right?
yeah, and that goes to we'll be covering Chapter Black and Three Kings arc, which is either going to be chapter 175 or 176. If you want to go by
The last
titles,
chapter.
yeah, if you want to go by chapter titles, it's Welcome to Our Territory all the way to and then ...
Ooh. That's an interesting ending. Chapter name. Makes it think there would be a sequel, but maybe, yeah. That,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah.
Actually, it's probably like a
goes.
time skip chapter or something like that.
Yeah, I
Maybe.
think so.
That makes sense. Oh, I want to see that so bad now. Okay.
All right.
What was it in the anime?
What the? Oh yeah, the chapters or no episodes 67 through 100 and it's been
The
so
last
long.
episode.
Last episode.
The
yeah.
last episode. There we go. That's all we needed.
Yep. So yeah, we'll
yeah.
be covering that next time, and we'll see you then.
Yeah, see you next time.